was just a dork who wanted to shoot lightning out of his hands like Gundamn Ryu from Street Fighter. So I waved my magic wand and brought this lightning bolt legend out to Hollywood, where the nerd always gets the girl.
What is poppin', everybody? Yo, welcome to another episode of Gundamn at MAHQ. My name is Sober Ryu. I'm with Shinjuku Station Podcasting and MAHQ.net, and you're listening to a podcast dedicated to mecha anime and all things surrounding it. My name, and I'm not alone here tonight.
We all know your name.
Yes, everybody. Indeed. Yo, also on deck tonight is my co-host with the most, Neo.
Man.
What's going on, sir?
They're screwing up the opening's the easiest thing, man. It's the monologue. Just think of yourself as, like, one of those comedians from back in the day where they got the cigarette in one hand and the drink in the other, and they're like, "Hey, welcome to another episode of Gundam MHQ. This is special 38 Ready Player One film review."
Indeed.
That's how you do it.
Indeed. Yeah, look at this. Listen to the smoothness.
With our special
guest,
Shoji Ramuro. Shoji, how it is, my brother.
Doing all right,
Wait,
guys.
this is the Black Panther review. Sorry.
Wow. Wow. What the fuck?
Or the Black Panther mode.
Trying to go all smooth. Hey, man, what's going on, guys? Yo, what's going on, everyone? Show here. I actually go now by Show Solo.
Show Solo. He's so solo.
Oh, you're Show Solo now?
I am Show Solo now.
Show Solo.
Solo life.
A Star Wars story.
Just before, not to get on a tangent on this, but I saw a better picture of young Han Solo.
Yeah.
Couldn't they get a guy? I hope this guy's a great actor because he sure in hell doesn't look anything like
Harrison Ford.
Anything remotely like a young Harrison Ford.
Who does?
I know they're not the same people, but I mean, little kind of chubby cheeks and stuff. I'm like,
oh, he's young though.
Okay.
He's young. I don't expect him. I don't expect them to find anybody who looks like Han Solo. Although there is an impressionist.
I'm not saying completely.
Yeah. But
his body type seems a little bit different. So Han Solo was a little doughy guy when he was back in the day.
What's funny is there's an impressionist that looks just like Harrison Ford and actually played Harrison Ford's younger self in a movie that he did a couple years ago. His name's Anthony Gruber, and they were eyeing him to possibly play Han Solo in that Star Wars story movie. But they wanted to get more of an actor and less of an impressionist. But the guy did a really good job with him in that. It was that movie where Harrison Ford was in it with Blake Lively, and she played a woman who drove off, I guess, a bridge, and she found immortality, and she had to kind of gypsy her way through life because she never aged. So she had like a string of lovers and whatnot, and one of them was Harrison Ford as a young man, and she ran into him, and then later on she runs into him as an old man, and he remembers her, and it's like, how come you haven't aged today? And it goes on from there. But yeah, that guy.
Is that how he said it too?
Hey, you're that girl. Yeah.
I forget what it's called.
You're an age today. What the hell?
It's called The Age of something. I forget what the name of the movie is, but it's
Age of Angry.
I'm just gathering this together for the trailers I've seen of that movie.
I'm following up from my classic movie, Which Way is the Runway?
Yeah.
And
How to be a pilot.
I can't believe no one's told me yet in this old age I look ridiculous with one earring.
It's funny that you bring it up. More ridiculous with the one earring. Him or Michael Jordan? Because Michael Jordan's got the hoop. Harrison Ford at least has a stud. Michael Jordan's still rocking that big, like, '80s Eddie Murphy hoop.
I guess
But they're both in a film.
awful.
Well, hey, the new Lethal Weapon, Harrison Ford and Michael Jordan.
Detective Hoop and Detective Stud.
Two hateful men.
Fucking shot that ship on their shoulder.
Hey, Detective. I can't even do Michael Jordan. I don't know what he sounds like now. But hey, Detective Stud. What's our case today? By the way, I hate LeBron. I hate everything. I only got another week before retirement.
I'm too old for this shit. God damn it. Right. But welcome, guys. Welcome to this special episode of Gundamn. And Neo is correct. We're going to be sitting down and talking about the film movie. The film version of Ready Player One.
Okay, so bro,
yes.
Step back for a second.
Oh, Lord.
Take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Exhale.
There you go.
Woosah.
Woosah. Back in episode 36, we special 36. We talked about.
He's very excited.
We talked about
himself, I think.
We talked about the book version, of course, back in episode 36, the special. And we had show on for that, and we had a nice extended conversation. And as we promised, we were going to actually review the film version when it came out. And lo and behold, this past weekend, it came out. And we all saw it and enjoyed it to varying degrees. And we're going to get into the discussion of that actually right now. As you guys know, the film version was directed by Steven Spielberg, produced by Warner Brothers.
That?
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg. What movies has he done?
What's his bona fides, man? He's done movies like Always, 1941.
Oh, Jesus, they're really going to the greats there.
That's really what you go to, right? Okay.
My go-to. I mean, no, he's done movies, of course, like E.T.
When was the last time
Jaws,
you watched
Jurassic Park.
Oh,
not since the first time and last time, and that was way back when. But yes, that's Steven Spielberg we're talking about, of course, from Jaws, E.T.
I thought you were going to bring up Tintin and shit.
Tintin, dude, I enjoyed the hell out of Tintin, man. Which is funny because a lot of the technology used for Tintin and a lot of previous Robert Zemeckis movies were used heavily in this film. And definitely all the years that they poured into that is starting to pay off because it really made this movie look great. But yeah, Steven Spielberg, everybody knows Spielberg. Most people have seen Jurassic Park, and that's probably one of his most watched movies. But he's done movies of all varying types, whether it be the fantastical ones or movies based on the lives of real people, tragedies, events, all sorts of stuff. And he's very beloved, one of my favorite directors of all time. And to me, he did a fantastic job in this movie. The movie was also written by Zach Penn, who...
I said, oh boy, Zach Penn.
Oh, Zach Penn. He wrote X-Men 2 or X2, and also helped to write The Avengers, and is also written with him. Ernest Cline, the writer of the book, also worked on the screenplay as well. Ernie Cline, man, Austin's own Ernie Cline. But yeah, they both worked on the screenplay, so it was cool that they got the actual writer of the book in on the screenplay. Musical score by Alan Silvestri. I can't stop listening to the score, by the way. He did the music for Back to the Future, The Avengers, and
real quick, you said X2? I thought he did the shitty X-Men, The Last Stand.
Oh, he may have, but he also worked on X2. He also worked on X2. I don't know if he worked on X3. I didn't look up that credit, but he did work on X2.
What's this guy's name?
The credit says X-Men: The Last Stand, written by
Zach Penn?
Yeah, and X2 just says story.
X2? Okay.
Oh, yeah. So, ooh.
Well, he worked on X2 in some degree. You
should retract that statement.
Yeah, it says right here on IMDb, X-Men 2 writer, 2003. Incredible Hulk writer, The Avengers writer, Ready Player One writer.
I'm looking under writer, X-Men The Last Stand, written by, X-Men 2 story. The fuck page are you looking at? I got the shit right in front
I'm looking at known for. Well, man, I'll pull up on the screen. God damn it! Jesus. It says right here where the posters are. X-Men 2 writer, Incredible Hulk writer. I guess to varying degrees. Okay.
Posters. I'm looking at the fucking filmography listing. Whatever, man.
Yeah, but it says the category says writer, 22 credits at the very top of that. So
But
I mean,
I'm on IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
X-Men: The Last Stand. Writers: Simon Kinberg.
Yes.
Zach Penn.
Yep. There you go.
So
Yes.
let's see.
There you go.
X2. That was what X-Men United or whatever.
I'm just reading what it says on the list.
I mean,
you got it?
I'm just looking at the list. You see it on the fucking
I
X-Men 2 story. And then you go up, X-Men The Last Stand, written by. Why is it saying two different things? The point is this.
Yes.
Right, yeah, right here. Yeah, writers, X2, writer. Zach Penn, parentheses, story. David Hayter, parentheses, story. 4 more credits.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like 6 people that wrote this thing. So if I make it larger, so the writing credits, the credited to story is Zach Penn, David Hayter, and Bryan Singer.
Oh Lord.
The screenplay is done by Michael Dougherty, Dan Harris, and David Hayter. So David Hayter actually gets both.
Oh yeah.
X-Men 3. It just it just has him.
It's a black mark on his record. He also wrote Elektra. It's not he doesn't have a story.
Oh, he wrote Elektra too.
Yeah, he doesn't have a stellar record, but I'm just saying he's written some good stuff and he's written some bad stuff.
He wrote the treatment for Suicide Squad 2. So you know that's going to be
School Squad.
School Squad.
Look, the point is, he made a lot of shit, and you're trying to fucking give that man practically sole credit for like the one good thing on this list.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Damn.
And I'm like, nah, son, nah.
He helped with the Avengers and the Incredible Hulk. I enjoyed the Incredible Hulk, man. I enjoyed that movie. Anyway,
well, guess what? I enjoyed The Last Action Hero. So
gross.
Really? What's so terrible about it?
I hate that movie, man. It's so stupid.
Why do you hate it so much?
Okay, let me hate is a strong word. It's not my first go-to film to watch. I'll say that for certain.
All right.
I want to say that. What the fuck?
Oh,
let's say this. Let's get to Ready Player One.
Yes, it did.
Written by Zach Penn and Ernie Klein.
Yes, it did. It released on March 29th, 2018, with a production budget of $175 million. And it did okay for itself this weekend. Domestically, it's made $68 million. Foreign, though, it made $169
financial
million.
Let's get to the story.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, man, Ready Player One, it pretty much encapsulates the book and streamlines a lot of the events in the book. We're going to get into it, but I'm going to toss it over to Neo to give his overall his first impressions of the movie and his thoughts. Neo, please take the wheel.
Wow. Well, I'm just gonna give mine a show.
Well, then,
he's the guest.
well then, show, take it away, sir.
Because nobody really wants to hear what I have to say.
Do you guys even want to do your own show?
No, I do. No, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it.
Go for it.
I'll just give my initial.
How about you warm up the crowd? There you go.
Yeah. I'll do the warm up here.
There you
while
go.
Show's doing whatever he's doing.
I'm not doing anything.
As we discussed in special 36, I read the book. I was, I wasn't like giddy or anything about seeing the movie, but I was excited, and I was, each time you saw a trailer, and then I think it got released at South by Southwest, and you were hearing a lot of positive praise, and that's kind of a oxymoron, positive praise. But
negative praise.
But you were, so I was like, okay, this is cool. And I actually went the Friday night that came out. And I got to say, as soon as it started, I don't know about you guys, but the first time that he logs in and he's just walking through the Oasis and you see like Hello Kitty and all these other different characters and stuff, I started acting like I was like a middle school kid. It's wow. Holy shit, there's Hello Kitty. And you're like trying to like, you're seeing all these things. And you're like, oh my God, that's that. Holy shit. Because, we had kind of a list of what was going to be in there. Some things snuck out and we saw in trailers and things, but I was starting to see stuff that I didn't see before. So it was almost like a game trying to see if I could identify all the things that were in there. Yeah, I got to say, started watching it. You know the story, so I think sometimes it's a little bit easier, because I think it might have been easier for people that read the book, so you kind of have all the background noise out of the way. They do a little bit about like touching on how kind of crappy the world is, but they don't go too much into it, and they really don't need to, because in the end it's just you know, trying to get to the major story. But you know, the guy that played Parzival, I don't know,
Ty Sheridan.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, I don't know. I didn't always get him. He didn't seem believable. But
Cyclops.
Oh, is he Cyclops?
Yes.
I couldn't help but think that every time he put on and off the visor every time.
I like this poor fucking actor's always wearing something over his face.
I know.
But I got to say, you know, the opening sequence when they're on the race, that's pretty cool. You know, I definitely have to say the movie starts out with there's no lull in it. I got to say that. I mean, I'd have to say probably about 5-10 minutes in, they're already doing that race, and you're just like, wow, this is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Lot of visuals, a lot of just sensory overload in a lot of ways. You know, it's great to see something with a lot of lights without that horrible with no horrible lens flare flashing in your eyes. So sometimes it's nice to actually see what's going on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Hint, JJ.
Oh, damn.
You can have a lot of lights and flashes, and doesn't have to blind the people that you're trying to
Blind the people
that are trying to watch it. So, but I mean, I don't know how far you want to go into this, but I mean, that's kind of my overall. At first, when I first got in there, I mean, we can talk about in detail some of the things we like and dislike, you know, later on. So
certainly,
I guess I'll throw it over to Show when he watched it.
Show.
Well,
just your initial thoughts. And
obviously, when I first watched this film, it is extremely difficult to not to go in with a muddled lens, because obviously all you can think of is the book.
Yeah.
And that's the first impression I'm getting into seeing this movie. I'm just comparing everything to the book, which obviously is not fair to the movie. Because the movie is what it is, and the book is what it is.
Absolutely.
And it's an important thing to note, too, if you guys remember when you first read the book, he starts off the story saying that there's been a lot of, you know, books, movies, stories telling what this particular story I'm about to tell you, but these events is actually how it went down.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's like the book is just a different telling of the same story.
Yeah.
And so watching this film for the first time, I keep telling myself, you know, obviously there's going to be a lot of changes from the book. You know, enjoy this movie for what it is. And my initial impression from the film is a lot of that. You know, I felt the movie was a lot of fun. Mainly because don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
That's the first fucking piece of advice I can give anyone when they go in to see this movie. Don't take this movie seriously. If you read the book, try not to think too much about the book and just take it, you know, for what it is. And I feel Spielberg's always been pretty, you know, really good when it comes to pacing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because as Neo touched upon, like, you get immediately thrown into like this action set piece. And if there's even any lull between the stories, it's like some ridiculous shit will be mentioned or done, but then he quickly throws another action set piece at you, or another enjoyable scene at you to make you forget that, you know, did he just shit on my chest? I mean, what the fuck just happened? What was that? But, you know, you're already into another scene that's, you know, was a lot of fun. And there's a lot of parts of this film that I felt was a lot of fun. Funny. This movie was actually...
It was comical, actually.
It was pretty funny in a lot of scenes. Like, again, don't take any of these things in this film too seriously. Don't even take the villain seriously.
Oh, my God, you can't.
You know, and it's like, so going in...
Oh, I mean, director Krennic. Don't take him seriously.
Especially, I think Spielberg actually told him to try to control his lisp or something. I don't know.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah,
he looked like he was wearing veneers throughout that entire film. Is it just me, or it was like his front teeth was like huge? I don't get it. But anyway, the film is fun, and I honestly I've read heard a lot of other reviews of people like wanting to attack like certain people in this film. Honestly, I felt like everyone was fine.
Yeah.
Even Ty Sheridan, because in all honesty, I can understand the reasoning behind this casting because 75% of this film they're voice acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
And mocapping too.
And I felt Ty Sheridan as a voice actor, it wasn't that bad.
I think he did a really good job, I gotta say, because he had to hold your attention as a narrator.
You know, and when he started talking about something that obviously the nerdy Percival had a passion about, I mean, you was engrossed and you wanted to listen to him. When he was like talking about the whole fucking adventure and shit like that, you know, I felt Ty did a pretty good job with all that. Olivia Cook, I thought, did a fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely.
With her mocapping and her voice acting. And shit, even T.J. Miller's character, IROC.
I know.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe it either.
I heard that voice and I was like, oh. And then, but I'm like, you know what? I can't hate on it because at least I'm not having to see him.
Yo,
and I think Spielberg rung him in.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, do the character. We don't want you. We want the character IROC. And it's like every time you think it's just about to get too fucking ridiculous, it doesn't overstep that.
Yeah.
So I think
that's a good observation because, you know, it would have it where you're like, oh, this is going to get super crazy. And I think any other director would have been like, let's do the unbelievable. It's a video game world. Fuck it. We'll just do whatever. And I think in some ways that helped it because then, you know, it showed that there are kind of some boundaries, even though it is kind of a virtual world. And I think that's a pretty good comment there to state that, because that does make it good. But I have to say though, having that opening sequence, I think that really set the pace on making it establish that it's a video game world. I think that's really what that opening sequence was the best about, because, you know, it's just like, okay, this is a video game world. It's crazy. You're going to have T-Rexes and King Kong and all these, you know, the Canada's bike and all this stuff. But yeah, good stuff though.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, I loved Marco Lance as Anorak. He's just, every time he was in the scene, he was just so fucking goofy and out of place. Simon Pegg doing an English accent.
Yeah.
And Simon Pegg doing that English accent. I'm like, I don't even know why they casted Simon Pegg in this film.
Really?
Really? You don't think anyone else could have done that role?
Oh yeah, sure. Matter of fact, I was wondering if they were gonna get a fat guy to play that role, like maybe like because in the book he was described as being, you know, kind of like Steve Wozniak, which I'm sure the character's based on.
Steve Wozniak.
Yeah, so more portly and whatnot. But they got Simon Pegg, which I was cool with, because Simon Pegg, his American accent I thought was pretty good overall. But you know, I could tell that he was also moonlighting as another character in the movie, which we'll get into when we get into the story a bit. But I thought he did all right.
I didn't say he was terrible. I was just saying
it's kind of, I get what Show is saying. Yeah,
of course you get it. Sober will never fucking understand.
Listen, guy.
Yeah, he wasn't as integral into this movie as that character was in the book,
right?
And if you're gonna, you know, I'm sure later we'll talk about some major differences that you have. That shows right. If the Ogden character was more like it was in the book, in the movie, then maybe I could see having a Simon Pegg. But yeah, in the end, yeah, why? I mean, I hope they didn't pay him too much, you know.
But really, the only character in that whole movie, I was like wondering, what is Finale?
Oh, yeah, Finale? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck was that about? But those are my points on the people on the film and my initial impression of the film. But I guess before I even get to like really tearing this film apart, Let's see what.
Oh, we got, yeah, Soul Bro
has.
Oh boy,
I loved everything.
that's an asshole. Man,
I've never been. There's never been a movie that's changed my life like this one.
oh
Jesus
man.
Christ. Is this true, Silvio?
No, but I had a whole shit ton of fun with this film, man. I went into this movie. I let go of everything when going into this movie because I knew it was going to be like the book, and I already knew people were online talking shit.
Book.
Yeah, the audio book. Wow.
How did you compare the voice acting in the movie to the voice acting in the audio book?
The blows are solo. The blows are solo. Oh my god! Look! I like Will Wheaton, and I like what he did for the narration of the book. He brought it to life. And I when I listened to Ty Sheridan do his voiceover, it reminds me of Will Wheaton's voiceover for the book. So I gotta say,
Will Wheaton brought the book to life more than you could have done it yourself if you wrote it.
Yeah, more than you could have done with the use of your own imagination.
Oh my sweet Christ! Oh my god!
I guess me and Sho need to get the audiobook version.
Look,
I'm just doing this on pure imagination playing.
No, I remember this part. This happened 10 minutes into the audiobook.
Indeed. But yeah, man, I when I went into this film, man, I was super thrilled to see this live and in live action, and it didn't disappoint because it started off with the ground running. There are some things about the movie
the 10% that was in the real world.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot more in this movie that was in the real world than I expected, to be honest with you. I didn't think it was going to have as much real world in it as it did. I know the book had a lot more of the real world in it, and I know some people's complaints are that it didn't show enough of the economic strife that the world was in. But
why do we need to see that?
Yeah, I mean, you got a taste of what it was about. You know that Wade himself lived in poverty. He lived in the trailer park. That's elevated. But it's a futuristic version of a trailer park. Overall, you kind of know how he's living, and it's pretty
a futuristic version of the same trailers we have now.
Yes.
I mean, that was a very nice visual.
Yes.
Display of the stacks. So,
yeah.
I mean,
they're exactly as I imagined them they would, and of course any artist rendering.
What Will Wheaton told you.
Yeah, Will Wheaton painted the picture.
Exactly how Will Wheaton described them.
Thank you, Wesley Crusher. I appreciate you. But the pace.
I'll try to keep the Will Wheaton jokes to. I'm not making any promises.
Yeah.
Thank you, Will. But no, the movie had an incredibly fast pace. They did compact a lot of the story into and split it up between a lot of the characters. You notice that in this movie, that a lot of the stuff that Parzival did in the book was divvied up between Artemis and Daito and the rest of the crew, which I thought was cool because it gave them more involvement in the story. Thank goodness, because they needed more things to do, especially Daito, which is a pretty big surprise as you continue to watch the movie, because I was expecting a really fucked up scene to happen. That didn't. But
mainly to me, it's mainly Artemis.
Yeah,
they did that go fucking wrong.
They did it wrong in the book. Towards the end of the book, she's kind of like just very hard to like towards the end of the book. She's likable at the very beginning, but towards the end of the book, you just start to dislike her more and more. But not in the movie. In the movie, she's expertly rendered by Olivia Cooke, and they give her a lot to do. There's a major story arc in the movie that was something that Wade had done, but they instead cleverly put her in that position, which I thought was fantastic, with her having to go inside IOI. Yes, it did.
I mean, I'll get into it. It's ridiculous, but compared to the fucking book, way more natural.
Yeah.
Again, Wade was Mary Sue throughout that fucking book.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wade.
That if there's a part that's really unbelievable on that book, is that part.
Fucker cannot do no wrong.
He can't do no. At a certain point, in the book, he was on fire for the rest of the book, and it's like, damn, are you gonna make mistakes? Are you gonna make any mistakes?
Is that like a reference from Overwatch? Wade's on fire.
Wade's on fire. kind of. But speaking of Overwatch, there was a lot of cameos in this film. If you haven't seen the movie, we are going to spoil quite a bit. But yes, you're going to see a lot of Overwatch in this movie. You're going to see a lot of Battleborn in this fucking movie. I don't even know what the fuck that game is, but
Dude, guess what? You're not alone.
oh my god! But you're gonna see a lot of characters you know, and some surprising cameos as well in the film. I suggest you don't strain yourself trying to find them all. Let yourself do that as you watch it on repeat viewings. If you do pick up the Blu-ray or if you come across it, yeah, you will. You'll also miss a lot that's going on in the middle of the screen. So just take in what you see and take it a moment, because the movie doesn't stop and waste time with cameos at all. You blink and you miss it for the most part, and I did like that. It just gave the world a lot more flavor, and it didn't slow down the pace of the story, which I appreciated. So thank you for that, Spielberg, as his experience shows through in this movie. I don't think Spielberg spent as much time in this film as say the care that he took on Jurassic Park, where
this was a paycheck.
Yeah, he wanted to do it. He sought out this book and wanted to do a rendering of it. But I mean, yeah, he knew there was money in it. Sure,
it was a paycheck.
I don't know about that, but I think
I think there's nothing spectacular that was done within it.
Yeah, it
doesn't have all the Spielberg. It doesn't have those Spielberg magical things that sometimes he does, and even in his really depressing movies are kind of magical and memorable. In some ways, I think it could be a paycheck. I think it was also, he wanted it to make it where it was safe enough where he could kind of get a win. Mm-hmm. He really hasn't had a win in a while. This is probably his first real win in a while.
He hasn't done a fantastical movie like this since. Well, he did the BFG, but that really wasn't a big hit. And then he did Indiana Jones, which came out 10 years ago this year.
Right,
the last one.
He hasn't had a real big thing to be proud of.
Yeah, he's done a lot of movies based on real life figures, and I think those movies are really good. Yeah. I like Lincoln personally, but he hasn't done a movie on this level in a long time, and it was good to see him come back to form, especially with.
Have you seen the one with Tom Hanks in West Berlin?
Oh, you talking about Bridge of Spies?
Yeah, the movie that's definitely an hour too long.
Oh, your dad's favorite movie, dude.
God,
that's what I call it. Oh my God,
it's so long, but
it's this crazy thing about Spielberg. It's like those movies, like, I don't know why I enjoyed this movie, but I still do.
Yeah. It takes you back.
But it also is the first time I really saw Mark Rylance.
Yes, and I was just about to get to that. Mark Rylance, that was the first movie that those two actually paired up on, and Spielberg has been working with that man ever since. He worked with him on the BFG, and then he worked with him on this movie, and I didn't think that Mark Rylance would bring this character to life. The character of Halliday. What's his name? What's his first name though? I forget.
Doesn't matter.
James Halliday brought his character to life and actually made him more human than the book did. The book, he kind of was just like this weird guy who set up this game and had even though he had success in his life, he had a couple of personal failures, and he lived a lot in regret. And the movie, I think, brings that more to life than anything else, especially with his nuanced performance. He's kind of like a nerdy version of Garth from Wayne's World.
Well, in the book's defense, Halliday was dead.
Yeah, he is.
And the only point of view we get of Halliday is from people who fucking worship him.
That's true.
Yeah. So
because they had records, but they didn't have. He had a journal, but I don't think it was like a video journal like we see in the movie.
Yeah.
Right, Show? I mean, it was they had Anarok's journal, but it was just stuff that he wrote, I thought, right? It was like a blog or something.
It's Wade put together his own journal, but Wade would also go to message boards and read boards about the things that Halliday watched and stuff like that. That whole Halliday journals that we saw in the movie where there's video recordings. That's all movie.
That's the movie, yeah.
Because again, really, are we going to be really entertained of seeing a guy sitting there reading through a book?
Yeah.
Why not make it visual?
They definitely made it pop visually with that, and made it a much more digestible experience of seeing Halliday's life flashback in video form. And I like how they did it too with the way they set up the cameras in the room, or the way they made it so that way they could alter the angle of the people in the room. And they made Mark Rylance look younger, and also later on when you see Ben Mendelsohn's Nolan Sorrento and you see him younger, they use that technology on him too. I thought that was fantastic.
Oh my God, is that Sorrento?
Is that That shit was great. And the way they revamped the challenges, I thought they were a little simpler to figure out than the book did. I will say this: the challenges in the book were far harder.
Don't say you like that, because holy crap, that's one of the all nerds revolt. It wasn't challenging enough.
Well, the thing is like, how are you gonna make those challenges work in film?
Doesn't matter.
In film, it's like so hard. It doesn't matter. It's so hard, dude. They kept the spirit of those challenges in the movie, and I thought that was fantastic.
This way. They betrayed
It's mainly the pacing. You cannot get that kind of pacing from the book into the fucking movie. Come on, people.
God,
it took like the first 25% of the book before they figured out the first challenge.
Yeah,
and then the fucking
it's
movie.
a wow.
And no, the thing that kills me about the movie, we go right to the first challenge. Oh, some gunter found it on the gate. I'm like, what the fuck?
And that's why Wade in the book is a little too perfect, because he's the one who found the first gate, and he's the one that met Artemis alone at that gate in the book and all that stuff. We've been over it.
Against Wade, that he's too perfect. I mean, that was all well and good. He just kept winning like James Bond Inspector.
He kept stumbling.
Yeah. God mode on.
Holy shit. But yeah, I thought that visually they popped, and I liked how they flowed throughout the movie, man. Especially the race, and then the second challenge. Boy, that's one of my favorite moments of the entire film. But yeah, just getting back to overall thoughts. The music by Alan Silvestri is one of the best scores I've heard him do. If you listen to it, you're going to hear a lot of audible cues from other films, especially Back to the Future, when the scene with the Zemeckis cube, where they play like kind of the melody from Back to the Future and whatnot. This pops up later on in the film too. If you listen to the score, you'll hear a lot of just stuff. But yeah, he did an expert job, and I think it's one of his best scores in a long time. I'm looking forward to his score to Infinity War.
He practically did the Back to the Future score of this film.
He did. It's very. If there's any score that is close to, it's Back to the Future, and that is one of my favorite scores that he's ever done. So it was nice to see him kind of return to this type of composing, and it also had a retro feel, because a lot of the movies in the 80s had this type of score in the 80s and the 90s. So it was nice to see him go back to that. And I'm really feeling it, man. I can't stop listening to it. It's really good. But overall, man, I had a blast. Is it perfect? No, and we're gonna probably nitpick it to shit now. But I will recommend it. If someone in the chat, I believe it was Ken D, asked how long was the RX-78 in the film. I wouldn't only in a specific moment, about 3 minutes. But it was
what we said we're spoiling.
Yeah, when I was to get into the spoilers, right?
Spoiler. No Ultraman in this. It's replaced by the Gundam.
By the Gundam, yes.
And instead of the beta capsule, they do some artifact where you can call out any mech.
Yeah.
For 3 minutes.
For 3 minutes.
And I'm sorry to say this, but I feel like one of the weakest moments in this whole entire film was probably the climactic battle.
Was it?
It might be. Yeah, it might be the weakest part. Yeah.
Because it had so much fucking potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much, but then we mainly followed the main hero just driving around in the DeLorean.
I missed Ultraman being involved, because that's such a deep cut. To have Ultraman there, a lot of people know who Ultraman is, but to see him have such a big role in the book and not see him in the movie was a bit disappointing.
I mean, it's got to be a rights thing, and I mean, yes, that's disappointing. The fact that they were able to get Bandai and Sunrise to allow them to use the RX-78-2 instead, I mean, I'm not really complaining on that.
Yeah, and
you'd rather see Ultraman, but the fact that they were able to put so many so many franchises from so many different production companies and toy companies is amazing. I mean, and I think that's one of the things that, because I've seen a lot of stuff where people have been complaining, oh, well, it didn't have this and it didn't have that. The book had this and it didn't. And I'm just like, okay, that's fine. But the fact that this movie was even made is, and it has what it has, instead of like, what they do a lot of times where they make up stuff, I mean, let's think about it. They had all types of stuff in there. They had The Shining. I mean, people were complaining about the Iron Giant, but it makes sense because that was the only thing they probably could get as the rights for.
Yeah, and it bugged me out to see the Iron Giant working alongside the RX-78 to take on Mecha Godzilla of all things, man. I didn't think Mecha Godzilla even make it into the movie, but it was a nice surprise to see it did. But go ahead, Joe.
I wanted to touch upon that because I had a feeling that Ultraman wouldn't be in there because they had so many hero robots they could use.
Yeah.
Nolan was, being the main villain. He's going to have to pull out a robot, right?
Yeah.
What did he use in the book? It was Mecha Godzilla. So the back of my mind is like, if I had to choose to see in this movie more than Ultraman, then it's going to be Mecha Godzilla. Like, please let me see Mecha Godzilla. And then when he pulled that shit out and threw it on the ground, I'm like, fuck up Mecha Godzilla. And then when I saw Mecha Godzilla, I'm like, oh no, put it away.
Yeah.
Put that back away. That was a terrible design of a Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, it could have been better. Fred's in the chat. He says Mecha Godzilla was trash.
I fucking agree. When he pulled that shit, I'm like, yes, Mecha Godzilla. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
and then it got
weird design.
I was the same way. It got big, and I was like,
man.
Ugh. That's Mecha Godzilla.
At least the music was there, though, dude.
His arms was like longer than his legs. What is this shit? But yeah, the music.
The music was killing me, dude. I love that shit.
But anyway, I wanted to touch on the Mecha Godzilla. Go on.
But yeah, to see the RX-78 in action. And to hear the sound effects from the show, that's what got me, dude. It's not just that it showed up and it was based on the Origins design.
It's actual Gundam
the Origins design. It had sounds from Gundam. When Daito, and you see in his visor the logo for Mobile Suit Gundam, and it's from the Japanese fucking version of Mobile Suit Gundam. That made me geek out. It's like, yo, they actually love Gundam enough to try to render this as perfectly as possible. The way the beam saber looked, man, I was just bugging the entire time, dude.
Yeah, and it had all the details. It had the the Earth Federation Space Forces thing on it. I mean, the logo. I mean, but that's the thing. It's like, okay. Like Sho mentioned earlier, the book's the book, and the movie's the movie, and the fact that we had so much stuff of this in there, like you said, I mean, as goofy as Mecha Godzilla looked in this movie, the fact that we even had it was still great, So you got to kind of take it for what it is.
And that theme played for a while.
Yes.
I think the entire time Mecha Godzilla was out, his theme was fucking playing.
That shit was banging, dude. That's that. Yazzie in the chat says I had people cheer for the Gundam in my theater. Me too, dude. I was in the theater. My wife heard. It's like those kids behind us are going nuts because the Gundam's in this. It's like I'm going nuts, man.
Yeah, you're right, because actually where I was watching it, there was a few people that cheered when the Gundam came out too, and Rich was kind of fun. But I mean, even the fact with the Iron Giant, because I've seen people complain online. I read an article. I was deciding I won't put the person on blast, but they're sitting there going, oh, this is such a bad thing because the way this movie it destroys geek culture because they took the Iron Giant, and in the movie the Iron Giant, he's a peaceful robot, but in this one he's a weapon of war. I'm just sitting there going, why are you nitpicking shit? Like, you should be happy that this movie was even made, because let's be honest, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, this movie's probably not really being made.
Well, even the Iron Giant would fight to defend his friends. He would fight to defend Earth, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So bro, don't even. Bro, you're trying to.
No, I'm just saying. He has these abilities, and he was used as a tool in this film, which I understand. He's a mod, as they said at the very beginning of the movie.
See, you're walking into the den of stupid that this person is doing, because the Iron Giant is its own movie. This is a movie about a virtual reality game. About a virtual reality game that you can bring in characters from anything that you want. The DeLorean didn't have the Knight Rider eye on it.
That's true.
So, I mean, my point is people that are butthurt about this whole thing of like, because, and Sho probably backed me up on this, Soul Bro would too, the venom from some of the quote unquote geek press and nerd press about this movie is just fucking astounding to me, because you think that they completely used a bunch of generic characters and tried to pass them off as something. No, they got probably maybe 70% of the characters that were mentioned in the book in this goddamn film. Two and a half hour film.
Yeah.
And you're going to complain that in a movie that has nothing to do with the storyline of the movie, The Iron Giant, that the Iron Giant wasn't utilized in the correct fashion as it was dictated in his movie? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, neither was Goro from Mortal Kombat. But what's your point?
The point is to see all these characters in this film and have fun with it. Don't take that shit seriously. I mean, for fuck's sakes, Daito was jumping off the back of the Serenity, jumping into the goddamn bullet suit. What the fuck?
Yeah,
to fight Mecha Goddamn Godzilla.
and you're complaining.
A bunch of Master Chiefs running around. Master Chiefs.
And you're complaining.
I thought there's only one.
And you're complaining in the background because Iron Man or Iron Giant's doing this, and they didn't have Iron Man or they didn't have Ultraman. It's like, what? Who cares? I mean, the fact that they even got half of this stuff in there, a quarter of this stuff in there.
You know, Spielberg is a master of rendering books onto film. He did it with Jaws. He did it with Jurassic Park. But I'm sure that some diehard fucking Jurassic Park book readers are upset that they made so many changes to the fucking book to film. But it's like, are you serious? Because with the changes he made the film work. And if you took the pacing from the book, this would take 3 films to tell this story. There's no way that shit is happening.
And do we really want to have this climax in the first book? Excuse me. Let's say they broke into 3 movies.
Yeah.
Each one being a gate. Do we really want a climax of fucking this kid playing an arcade machine of Joust standing next to this fucking skeleton?
Yeah.
They're playing Joust for fucking an hour. Yeah. And at some point during that game, he literally asked the guy, "Can I get on the first player side?" Okay. And then they shuffle around each other. Do we really want that? No, they made it into a fucking race. Okay, it's like watching a live action version of CG version of Split Second playing out here. You know, when they're coming up to a turn, they shoot like the blue arrows and shit, like we see in fucking racing games.
Of course, absolutely.
Like, I'm like, this is
Forza, son.
But yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. Because do we really want to see him playing Joust? No, nobody wants to see that. That's dumb.
Yeah, or playing Black Tiger from first person perspective.
Exactly.
I do know some people. I know some people that were really hoping to see that.
Oh my god!
At least a little bit of it.
Oh my god! For real? What about the movies that he had to interact in, like War Games?
Acting War Games.
War Games. And
I think the replacement we got worked.
Yes. Talking about that.
Shining.
I'd watched The Shining with my wife a couple months ago, back in October of last year. She had never seen it before. So the look on our faces when they went into the game, we flipped out. It was like when they went into the movie,
the biggest fucking grin on my face. They walked through that theater and the music started playing, and they walked into the foyer. I'm like, I just had the biggest fucking grin on my face. I like where this is going.
Yeah.
And it was a great clue.
Dumbass H.
What was it? It's a film that its creator hated or something like that. It's a story based on a book that the author hated. And because it got you thinking. I'm like,
Spielberg went so meta.
He did. He went meta as hell because it's a comment on the film, because the film is so different from the book itself that it's such a meta commentary on this movie, with The Shining being in this, and the shit that they had H as the person who hadn't seen the movie, having him or her go through that hallway and press that button. As soon as he started pressing that button, it's like, oh, you are fucked.
It was such a clash of worlds, and I was just smiling to see H put into this situation freaking the fuck out. I'm like, it's like you don't know anything yet. She saw the 2 little girls. I'm like,
what y'all doing? It's like,
little girls.
I'm gonna just go with it.
Get out of here.
But it does play into the trope of the black character in the horror movie.
yes, it does.
Because for some reason, they're the. I mean, everybody's always clueless in horror movies, whatever it is. but for whatever reason, unfortunately, the black characters are the most clueless.
The crazy shit is that they rebuilt the set for The Shining for the movie. I mean, some of it is rendered in CG. I'm assuming the labyrinth and, you know, of course, the effects and whatnot.
A lot of the background.
The fact that they remade the kitchen, the main lobby, the fucking room. They incorporated as much digital representation of the people who were in the movie, like the old lady and the little girls. They re-rendered them for the film. And even a little bit of Jack Nicholson, you couldn't see his face, but, you know, just him walking in the snow chasing H. I had chills the whole time, man. It was wild stuff, man. And just the way they even shot it, they had captured the same camera angles from the film. It's nuts. And you guys said you ran into some articles where they said that this movie now shitted all over The Shining or some shit. What was the articles talking about?
By New Statesman a day ago says by recreating it, Ready Player One does The Shining a disservice.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
How's it doing a disservice? It's if anything, people seeing this movie might want to go and see The Shining.
Yeah, I have a friend that watched the movie and never seen The Shining before, and they said they make it a point to actually watch it this weekend. So I was like, yeah, you should. You should totally watch it, man. It's like
then after that, go see the documentary. I think it's called 408.
Yeah, I watched that actually.
Jesus Christ, dude. That Kubrick, man, he was a piece of work.
Yeah, and Spielberg was a huge fan of his too, as we learned from AI, because AI was AI was.
As soon as Kubrick died, he fucking went and saluted like a goddamn scavenger. But yo, aren't you working on something? I'm working on this now.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the movie AI was originally supposed to be directed by Stanley Kubrick, but he passed away during production of the film, so Steven Spielberg took over it. Kind of Spielberged it up towards the end, because you could see where the Kubrick movie ended and the Spielberg movie began.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's pretty abrupt how that worked.
Pretty abrupt, but still, he was always a big fan, and they were friends in real life too. So for him to have to be able to kind of
but Kubrick's a fucking genius.
Yeah, he is a fucking genius.
I mean, some of those movies are just fucking amazing.
Doctor Strangelove is my shit. I fucking love that movie too.
I think he was literally a genius. Like his IQ was extremely high.
Yes, he was.
I mean, the stories about him doing like 100 takes on a scene are
it's fucking
legendary.
True. I mean, everything in the background was placed the way it was for a reason in his mind.
Yeah.
There's a reason for everything he did. I'm like, okay.
If you see people's breakdown of The Shining,
it must have been infuriating for people just to, because you're sitting there and you don't see it, and you probably see it in the lens of, you know, just a normal filmmaker, and they're like, you know what, that's good. And for whatever reason, like maybe the bottle on the table behind the character was completely out of focus and needed to be somewhat in focus, and he'd say, no, got to do it again.
Hell, there's something that tripped me out about The Shining. And you remember when Jack Nicholson is typing on his keyboard, his typewriter anyway. There's when they show the moments where he's typing and they're changing the camera angles, they're moving shit around in the background. Like the chair is in one spot, and in another spot it moves to another spot, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck? I never knew this on my first viewing, but when I watched it the second time, it's like, whoa, that doesn't look right. That thing moved, and he was a very subtle.
That's the movie that broke that poor girl.
Shelley Duvall. Yeah, Shelley Duvall got really frustrated during the filming of that movie. That's another story, but but yeah, man. I gotta say that if I have some negatives to bring up, one of them is Wade's character is not as well developed as he was in the book, I would say. But of course, that comes at the cost of splitting up all the stuff that he did amongst all the other characters. So I understand how they fast tracked this character.
I actually liked him because, mentioned earlier, he's a little more realistic.
Yeah,
than being just Mr. God mode and everything. And like Sho had mentioned, the whole point, you know, we get the swap of being captured by IOI instead of Parzival at this one. It's Artemis, and it made it because the way they write him in the book doing that stuff, I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Really?
his plan of getting his side. Oh, I was a little too perfect, and as Show mentioned, it was much more organic to have it done by Artemis instead. But I do like his transformation in the book. That's what I like the most about his character, is when he gets that wake up call after they kill his family off, and then he goes into hiding, and he starts to he takes note of his physical self, and starts to become a lot more focused. And of course, this is during the time that he's separated from Artemis because she shuns him.
But that's stuff that's book stuff.
That's book stuff.
That's book stuff, man.
Yeah.
But
don't talk book stuff.
What I did enjoy is I like the fact that Artemis shows up in the middle of the film, and Artemis and him get over that bullshit between them about what they both look like in person, and the real world versus the virtual world and all that stuff. They get over it really fast. Some people do criticize the movie because their romance moves too quickly, but I can name 1,000 movies where the romance moves just as quick, including some of the movies that this movie cites. So overall, it didn't bother me as much. Yeah, it's it can be the plot itself is kind of thin at the end of the day, I think, but I think it's the charm of the characters and the way the actors portrayed them in this film.
The book wasn't exactly a treasure trove.
No, it wasn't
of story either.
No, it wasn't.
I mean,
that's something the book and the movie share in common.
Oh, it doesn't detail it out like the book. I'm like, what, the ham-fisted cultural references from the 80s? That's about the only thing that was fleshed out in that book. Because there's a pretty cut and paste, poor nobody that nobody cares about somehow becomes the most important thing. We've seen that movie.
Yeah, it's a rags to riches treasure hunt story, like the Goonies, for instance. I think it borrows tonally a lot from the Goonies for this film, with the way the ragtag crew comes together to win a treasure hunt at the end of the day, and it's very reminiscent to that in me. I mean, it's an amalgamation of a lot of films, but I do think that tonally it borrows a lot from a lot of notable 80s films overall. So it feels familiar, but also fresh at the same time. But there's some things you guys wanted to nitpick about. I know, Show, you said at the beginning.
It's fresh in the aspect that it's kind of nice, and I felt this way when I watched the Jumanji movie. Richard, that hasn't seen that movie, I would say go out and get it.
I just watched it last weekend, dude. It was fucking great.
It's amazing. You know why I like this, and I liked Ready Player One, is in a lot of ways you could just turn your mind off. I didn't need to see a bunch of other movies that somehow, I'm not shitting on the MCU or any of that stuff, but god damn it, if I was to get into, where would you even begin to get into the MCU at this point?
Iron Man.
To even get up to speed. You would get that, and you'd have to watch.
That's a lot of films,
14 other movies.
Yep.
But it's kind of nice sometimes to watch something that's not part of a bigger franchise, because it seems like right now everything is trying to be a bigger franchise. For God's sakes, I haven't seen Pacific Rim yet, but I heard the ending of that movie is they're trying to make that into a franchise. And I'm like, wait a second, I thought the first movie kind of did it okay. I was okay with maybe a second movie. Okay, the kaiju come back, but
it totally shits on what's his face trying to stop the apocalypse. We thought he did.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
you saying it's still going? The apocalypse is still going? What? There's another one? Okay, you know what? You just ruined it.
Oh damn.
Yeah. So, but I think that's the one thing I really liked about this movie is like, it's not a drama. I don't have, it's not one of these, because it seems like everything's like some historical period piece, depending on whatever period it's coming from, or it's a franchise of something. This isn't any of them. And it's actually kind of nice to go in there and be like, okay, yeah, it's based on a book, but so what? But that's what I really liked about it, and that's where I just kind of turned my mind off, and I'm not sitting there going, yes, I can nitpick, and we're gonna discuss some things that maybe we didn't like or whatever, but that's just a normal thing. It didn't take me from liking the movie any less.
Yeah,
I thought the movie was fun. Am I going to give this movie a perfect score? No.
Well, fuck no.
But it doesn't have to have a perfect score to be a good movie.
My brain won't allow me to do it. And I'll explain why.
But it doesn't have to be a movie doesn't have to be perfect to be good.
Yeah.
Like I was telling these guys, I'm like, I fucking like Super Mario Brothers. I enjoy watching Street Fighter the movie. I enjoy watching this.
Well, what was your if you want to get into it? What's the big thing about this film that did put you off?
This movie is busy as fuck.
Yeah,
it's extremely busy.
It's very busy. Yeah,
it's almost too fucking busy in a lot of scenes. There's a lot to fucking take in, and I feel like maybe if they just toned down some of that shit, might have been a little bit more enjoyable. But yeah, some of the shit's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
You know, second, this is a movie of so many conveniences.
Yeah.
It does annoy me when I see so many conveniences happen. Really? The High Five lived all in the same fucking city?
Yeah, that was kind of silly.
You know, I could understand in their mind that they all wanted to be close to IOI, I guess. I don't know, for a faster... No, that still doesn't make any sense. The High Five, really? All in the same fucking city?
Did they say that they all lived in the same... I know that Artemis and Wade did, but I had the impression that that H came from out of town and brought the two boys with her, for the most part.
She just easily found them and then came... because she sent out the message right when they were inside the base, when they were being attacked, and then when Wade got out of their base, they were already there.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. That wasn't very long. So if
they came from out of town, sweet fucking Jesus.
Yeah, they...
I mean, what is the chances of that? The High Five, dude, come on. Someone in the room had to say, isn't this kind of convenient? Spielberg's like, fuck it, who gives a shit? We're writing a movie. We're here to have fun.
It's not supposed to make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking.
Oh my god.
If I had to go back now, again, the first challenge. You're telling me it took them. Well, they don't really disclose how long they were racing.
No,
they said it took like 5 years until they started racing. They don't really disclose how long they've been doing that game over and over. Maybe that was like only their second or third time doing the race.
Yeah.
But are you telling me no one thought
of driving backwards?
It's not so much driving backwards, but I guess Wade was the only one that was smart enough to like look at that video clip, and he literally spells it out in that clip.
He does.
You know, wouldn't it be great if we could just really pedal to the metal, go backwards? As he's walking away, I'm like, dude, Spielberg, you're really half-fisting this shit. Stop. Wait, stop. Play that again. And then it's like, I'm like, dude, that is so fucking ridiculous.
I guess on their defense, it's one of those ones where it's like, it's so obvious that it seems like it's fake, so nobody paid attention. But yeah, it is like, wait, he just redid that. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, he's gonna run the track. He's gonna go run it backwards.
Dude, we live in a day and age where motherfuckers are beating Skyrim in like fucking 45 minutes, and then you're fucking leaving less than that, and you're telling me it took these fuckers 5 years to figure out to just drive backwards?
Because just think of the assholes. let's just look at the culture of gamers and what aspect. A lot of them are assholes, and so there would be just assholes that would be like, you know what, fuck this, man, I'm gonna go the wrong way, and everybody will crash into me. Screw this, and they wouldn't have found. Oh shit, it opened up. Whoa, okay.
But this is the magic of Spielberg, okay? You give us this race, awesome, and then he discovers this stupid ass way to fucking finally solving the puzzle. I just got shitted on the chest. And then when he goes backwards, and when he goes in there underground, playing the whole shit underground with all that green shit, dude, I had a big fucking smile on my face. I loved how he literally hacked the fucking race.
Yeah.
And then you can literally see King Kong looking at the fucking guy, fucking like pissed.
Yo, King Kong? Yeah. And that's like the scariest version of King Kong I've ever fucking seen. Holy shit, that motherfucker was violent.
That's exactly what I said to Ed. I came out that theater talking to Ed. You know what's funny? I just saw Skull Island and a piece of shit fucking King Kong love romance with a girl. This is the most frightening fucking King Kong I've ever seen on the screen.
It was. It was a scary King Kong because he was pissed. He was freaking pissed, man.
And another part of that scene that I found kind of annoying, this is probably just me, is just that, yo, did you see that girl? Did you see? Yeah, she's riding Kaneda's bike from Akira. I'm like, dude, really? You fucking visually give us all these references throughout the movie and not feed us the references. But you literally spelled that out for us.
Yeah.
You know what though? I'll let that slide because not many people see the hero.
That was the Ernie part of the script. That was the Ernie Klein part of the script. Because I heard that and I was just like, oh. Because at first I'm like, oh no, is the movie going to be like this the whole time? Or they're going to see something and shit's going on and be, hey, did you see that? It's like,
yes, Canadian Spike from Akira. I'm like, thank you, Mr. Klein.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. Goddamn.
There you go. You got your screenwriting credit. Now you can join the guild.
But I'm sure there's just a lot of other silly shit in this film that just was too convenient, played out. I mean, none of those really come to my head, but yeah, there's a lot of stupid shit that got really.
One of the things that I will nitpick on the whole thing is, and it's such a cock tease. Mm-hmm. In the book, there's a part where one of the keys, one of the things that you have to do is you have to play a Rush song, which is fine. You gotta play Tom Sawyer. Okay, that's fine. And I'm okay with they don't have that in there, but you do a trailer where you play Rush.
Yes.
And the only thing in this movie is H wearing a shirt, a 2112 shirt, and a 2112 poster in the background when in Anarok's
bedroom,
his childhood bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, couldn't you give the guys just like maybe 10 seconds to play? Like they're walking somewhere and somebody's blasting their car or something. I mean, I thought that, I was like, because I'm like, okay, I'm not expecting to reenact all that stuff. I get that, but you definitely got permission to use your music because hell, they used it in the trailer.
Yeah, they sure did.
so
I was telling these cats behind.
Like, okay.
I was telling these cats behind the scene, you know how hard it is to get any song from Prince to be in a film. It is super difficult. Even after he's dead, his estate is super covetous with that shit. And yet they had at least one song from Prince in the film. So I'm sitting here wondering, it's like, well, I know Rush played a huge part in the book, so I'm expecting to hear it in the movie.
And Rush is pretty easy about getting their music.
Yeah, well, yeah, shit. You got fucking Van Halen opening up the film, right? Van Halen opens up the movie, so it's like, okay, we're gonna get some good old 80s rock in this motherfucker, right?
That kind of. I mean, I don't have a problem with.
I don't care what Rush song it was. It could be Tom Sawyer. It could be any one of their. It could be a more eclectic pick.
But let's be
give
honest.
me one song.
Let's be honest. In today's world, when it comes to bands from the 80s, who do you think people really think of first more?
Oh, Halen.
Van Halen or Rush?
Sure, Halen.
It's going to be Rush now because Van Halen is a product of their time. Yeah. There's been 60 different versions of them with 100 different singers. Mm-hmm. Yes, the best version is the David Lee Roth version. We get that, but I mean, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, wow, that could have been the point where they did Tom Sawyer or did something with Rush. Yeah, because it makes more sense because Rush it's the ultimate prog rock. It's all. Have you listened to Rush lyrics?
Well, I would have.
They're nonsense video game shit about 2112's about destroying the solar empire or something.
Yeah,
it's freaking crazy.
I was thinking they were going to play Rush during the final battle.
For a bunch of guys that never did drugs, they sure in hell wrote songs like they were.
They sure did. They played. I forget what the name of the song was that they played during the final battle, but that would have been perfect for any number of Rush songs. I thought that during the climax there would have been at least.
Well, like I'm saying, you don't even have to give them. You don't even have to give them something like that. You could just have it where they. Even in the race, maybe they're right next to somebody and the dude's just jamming out the Rush or something. Yeah. Cool with that. But, yeah, I thought that was, I mean, I was like...
Ultimately, it's a nitpick on my end, but it's a big it's a big thorn in my paw.
I thought it would have gotten a little bit more... Yeah,
because
no Rush music automatically takes a star off.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's like...
This movie is not getting 5 stars.
It's like whoever was...
It's like gymnastics.
Yeah.
It's like you start with a base score. What? You don't have Rush? you already fucking deduct the fucking.
Yeah, if you got the DeLorean in the motherfucker, and I know that Ernie Klein has a hard-on for that fucking car, give us Rush, because throughout the entire book you have references to it. And I know it's not about the book versus the movie, but Rush is such a it's off the beaten path when it comes to bands over than what's more than what's commercially viable.
No, you're wrong.
I hear Led Zeppelin. I hear Halen more than I hear Rush. I'll be honest with you. I like Rush more than I like Rush more than Halen, and I like Rush probably on the level of Led Zeppelin. I'll be honest with you, but you hear Rush more than you do those other bands.
Yeah,
really?
Actually, on the classic rock station here.
Oh shit!
I actually hear which. Van Halen's a Southern California band.
Yeah,
you listen to the classic rock station here, and I hear more Rush than I do that. I think, and Rush is they're bigger now, I think, than they've ever been. To be a point, just because, I mean, they're finally getting to do. But that's beside the point. The fact that it was James Halliday's favorite band, and I'm like, wait a second.
I mean, don't look at me. I'm out of this conversation because I'm all Depeche Mode. But either here or there.
Oh shit!
Well, I'm all Depeche Mode too, but yeah.
But what's interesting is this book is always good. You know, people always say it is the biggest love letter to the '80s. Mm-hmm. You don't really get that from the movie.
No, the movie encapsulates a lot of decades because you have a little bit of the '70s in there, and the '80s and the '90s, and even some modern day stuff as well.
Which makes it feel a little bit more organic because.
It's more spread out, so I guess more people can enjoy it. But my thing is, we're getting all these Overwatch characters. We're getting, Street Fighter characters. No, nothing against Street Fighter, but holy shit, really not even a Voltron lion? Did I miss something?
That is another thing, yeah. And that's probably, I'm wondering if that's a rights issue too. Because
funny thing you should bring that up. Planet Doom is apparently a reference to Voltron. It's the planet where Zarkon comes from, where the final battle takes place. So I've heard in some Easter egg videos that I've watched that some of the lions do show up, but I couldn't see them in that mad battle. They're mixed up in the battle somewhere, along with like things from Star Wars and whatnot.
Busy as fuck.
Yeah, it's super busy.
Yeah, it's way too much going on. That final battle, I mean. When that Blu-ray comes out, there's gonna be people just sitting there doing.
We saw the turtles. We saw the turtles. We saw
the Michael Bay turtles. Yeah, gross.
We saw the Battle Toads.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We saw fucking Chucky.
Yeah.
I like Jason Voorhees was a nice one.
Yeah, that was a nice one. Freddy was in there.
Freddy was in there, and fucking Raynor from StarCraft was actually the guy that his uncle was playing. Oh, touch upon that. That's an interesting, funny thing.
Yeah.
Difference from the book. He actually likes his aunt in the movie.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He hated her in the book.
In the book, if you remember, he hated her so much. He wasn't so mad that she died. He was more mad about the old lady.
Yeah.
Died. But
the old lady lives. I was shocked to see her. And then in the film, the old lady made it. Get the fuck. Was she out grocery shopping? Get the fuck out of here.
That's a Spielberg. That's a Spielberg ending. It's like, I'm gonna do some drama, but not enough. It's like, no. The old lady's gonna live in this one.
Old lady's she's gotta make it, son.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that show because he freaking hates his aunt in that book. But then he's like, "You killed my aunt." It's like
he literally said it in the book. I don't really mad as much as my aunt passing, but Mrs. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
She had no reason to die. It was funny in the movie; they barely even have a conversation. Well, she had a conversation. He didn't respond.
Oh, you feeling down?
Didn't say anything.
God damn, Wade.
Life's got you down. That's the only thing, the only exchange they have. I was like, damn. At least talk to her for a minute.
And in H's hangar, you got this. I don't know if you guys saw it, but that's where the swordfish was.
Yep, I got it up on the screen right now. Actually,
there it is.
Swordfish, the Viper from Battlestar Galactica.
There's the
Ed 209.
Diego from Spaceballs.
Yep, Ed 209's in the background as well. And of course, Iron Giant.
I was actually shocked to see Spawn.
Me too.
I'm like, God damn, Spawn? Like leading the charge?
Front and center, dude. It's like, yo, Spawn hasn't been in a movie in 20 years.
if Todd McFarlane has it with this next movie he's directing, you won't see him in that either.
You won't see him in that. Apparently, Spawn is like the bookends the film. He's barely in that shit.
He's like a boogeyman. He's just telling stories because the story is going to be focused on the detectives at Twitch, and I forget what the other one's name is. But it's mainly them and like solving issues with like some crazy shit going on, which is urban legend Spawn. But we don't even get to see Spawn. I'm like, hey man, whatever floats your boat, McFarlane. Apparently that's going to make the fucking movie budget low. But at least we got to see Spawn in this movie.
Speaking of cameos, I'm going to name off.
I've seen more in Ready Player One than you will in the Spawn movie.
Speaking of cameos, I'm going to name off a few cameos, and I'm going to ask you guys if you noticed them or where they popped up. I didn't see Samus, but apparently she's in the movie. Show, did you spot her?
No, fuck no.
She's in the. Apparently, she's in the club. Also,
that's someone's imagination.
Jill Valentine is in the movie. Did you see where she showed up?
It's.
I can tell you exactly where. Remember the scene where Parzival visits the Halliday journals along with, and he's there, and the mob mobs him, right? In that mob of people, Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. I think it's her Resident Evil 5 version where she's a civilian, where she has the hat and all that. It's that version of her, but I saw her in the background when Goro's right before Goro shows up to drag him away. So she's in the movie. I saw Dante. I saw Marvin and Martian. I saw
Dante. I think I remember seeing Dante too.
Yeah, I saw what I think is Piccolo. Apparently Goku is in the final battle. I couldn't spot him at all. But apparently he's there. Someone had said, I think it was Mr. Sunday Movies, apparently, and get this, and I was joking with a show about this on Facebook. I don't know if this is true or not, but has anyone seen The Dark Knight Rises? I think we all have, right?
Yeah.
You know our boy, Littlefinger, he's in The Dark Knight Rises. He plays a character named Bill Wilson. Special Agent Bill Wilson.
He's a meme.
We
joke about him.
We joke about him all the time. Apparently, his character for The Dark Knight Rises, the one that I guess takes Bane in the plane and threatens to throw him out in order.
If I take off the mask, will it hurt?
Will it hurt? He's in the fucking movie in the Oasis. I don't know where the fuck he is, but he's in the movie. Yeah, apparently he's in that shit. And I did see homeboy from Breakfast Club though. What's his name? Judd Nelson's character from Breakfast Club. I saw him holding his fist up in the crowd of everybody during the fight. He was there. That shit is nuts.
The thing is with these quick Easter eggs, and people say I saw this and saw that. I bet you if we go back and see it, you were fucking wrong.
No, I've seen the screenshot
of them are wrong.
Yeah. I mean not what you're saying. If you're talking about Judd Nelson's character, that's pretty fucking hard. It's to recreate. That's who it is and who it is. But
yeah.
There's a lot of generic video game characters that exist, and then people might see this like, oh, there's Lara Croft. Are you sure that's Lara Croft that looked like Jill Valentine from part of Resident Evil 2? I don't know, but it's just a lot of them had generic looks, and it's just hard. People can say this all the time. They could be right. They could be wrong. I'm gonna fucking know until I got the fucking Blu-ray in 4K.
Yeah,
that's true.
And stop it, and just sit there and pick throughout.
Well, someone's gonna like freeze frame the entire fucking movie and put up like every cameo in that film and put it on the wiki and highlight every character in this shit. Which is I'm cool with it. Fuck it. No, I won't be doing that. Thank you. They got to pay me.
And apparently, I'm the one that caught E Honda.
I haven't seen him.
It's in just when the two sides clash, IOI and the and everybody else when they running into each other.
Oh yeah, I think I do know.
Right near the front, you see a fucking big fucking dude do a body splash. Oh! That's the noise too. I'm like, yo,
don't score. It took me a second viewing of the film to see Ryu I saw Ryu in the race, but I didn't see Ryu when he was out shopping for the Zemeckis cube and shit like that. When they were showing that, I didn't even notice he was there doing spin kicks and uppercuts.
I saw him doing that.
Yeah, because it was the store.
It was the store.
You saw it, that was the Street Fighter store, and right next to it was like the Overwatch store.
Sure was. Yeah.
I'm seeing Tracer. While he's going around and buying those shit. Oh, the Holy Grenade from fucking a movie that I don't even watch.
You hate that movie.
At least I got that fucking reference.
Yeah. The Holy Grenade from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yeah. And then speaking of Ryu, one of my favorite moments in the film is when he's fighting against Nolan, and he fucking he confirms into a Hadouken. I fucking love that shit.
It's like, this is still my world, Nolan. Yeah. And he does that fucking moves, and he does say Hadouken.
Yeah, I was amazed it wasn't a Mortal Kombat movie, because Mortal Kombat's all over this goddamn movie, dude. All over the movie. We saw characters from Mortal Kombat 10, characters from Injustice, like all the DC characters you saw, the majority of them are their models from Injustice 2. And then when he goes into the room with the, once he opens up the final door with the crystal key and gets inside, that whole room where you see the egg on the top of that, that pedestal, it's got the dragons from Mortal Kombat, and then the statues in the background are all characters from Mortal Kombat as well. So it's like, wow, Warner Brothers, way to put your way to make sure to put those Mortal Kombat characters in this fucking movie, dude.
Our movie.
Goro was motherfucking front and center, so it was it's hard to miss.
You had to see with Goro and fucking the alien coming out of it.
Yeah. Oh my god,
that was actually pretty funny.
Like, this is fantastic. And one of my little gaming geeked out moments is like when you saw little Halliday, he was playing the ColecoVision, which is funny because the whole thing was about Atari, this and that, and even in the book. But he's sitting there playing fucking ColecoVision. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, he was. No love for the NES though. No NES.
They didn't offer any sponsorship.
Yeah, probably just dealing with Nintendo. Probably
there was at least one Nintendo thing in the movie that I saw. I didn't see any Nintendo characters at all. Although it said that the Donkey Kong poster was the only Donkey Kong Jr. That poster was the only thing I could confirm seeing in the movie. Some rumors say that there was Mario, Bowser, Luigi on his Mario Kart during the race. I didn't see that at all. So I've seen that. I've seen the movie twice. And I didn't see that shit at all.
I've seen that movie twice.
I've seen that movie twice.
I'm pretty sure those carts will stand down because they're so colorful.
Yeah, apparently SpongeBob is in his burger car or something in that. I didn't see SpongeBob in that race either. Maybe the chat will tell us if that was in the film. But I didn't see any Nintendo characters at all. I'd love to think that Samus is in the film, but
we can dream.
Yeah. We could dream indeed.
I bet you that was like Farrah the whole time.
It might have been because she has the same body. Farrah is inspired by Samus, so it wouldn't surprise me if that is the case. But yeah,
then there's also the little tiny visual cues.
Yeah,
things that you had to catch. Like I was telling Ed, there's Wade Watts at the very end while he's like in the car trying to get through the crystal key. If you look on the side of his headset, that's the symbol from Great American Hero.
Yes, the Greatest American Hero, which is also on.
I didn't see that.
It's also on Artemis's bike. That symbol's on Artemis's bike as well, and also
apparently Sega and
Sega's on the bike.
It's on that shit. We saw the Mortal Kombat sticker on Daito's little rig.
Shout out to Dan Mason in the chat. He mentions that the Thundercat symbol is also on Parsifal's belt as well. So it's blinking you'll miss it, but if you see him in a few shots, you see the Thundercats logo.
I would have fucking died if it was the NES controller.
Yeah, I would have died too.
Yeah.
That would have been.
That's all you had to do. Just put the NES controller because the belty shit setup he had kind of reminded Captain Ed. I'm like, I would have died with the NES controller.
He did rock the fucking laser tag gun though. Did you see that shit? During the scene in the club, he had the laser tag gun in his hand. It's like, yo, get the fuck out of here. That's really cool.
They rocked a lot of guns from a lot of different movies. That's another thing that's like tricky to keep up on.
Yeah.
Like Artemis rocked the gun from Aliens.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They had the Lancer. They had the Lancer show up from Gears of War.
Yeah, they that's the gun with the with the chainsaw gun. That's right. That's right. I caught a glimpse of that. Apparently, a gun from Eraser, that the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, a gun he uses it from that movie is in the film.
Is it the one he kills the gator with or whatever?
It's like some rocket launcher type shit. I forget what, but
okay.
There was one gun that looked really familiar, but I was just having such a hard time fucking placing.
There were so many guns in there. Yeah,
it was the gun. It was the gun he was using when his backup was against the wall, talking to Artemis, telling her she needs to get the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then he actually uses the gun to kill her.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that gun looks so fucking familiar, but I was having such a hard time fucking placing it.
Yeah, that's definitely something you have to freeze frame and figure out, because you can see them selecting the weapons and they have the words up above them, but it goes by so fast that you can't really fucking see it when you're watching the movie. It's something you have to freeze frame and see for the most part.
But
that would have been cool, Yazzie, if they would have had the caster gun.
dude, if they had the caster gun, I would have busted nut right there in that
You
theater.
never know, somebody in the background could have had it. You never know.
I mean, for crying out loud, we had the Akira bike. For fuck's sake.
Yes!
I
Yo!
know, what else more do you want, right?
Oh!
Dude, that's fucking mind-blowing.
Dude.
Yeah, the Akira bike. You have the swordfish. You have all those. Yeah.
The dopest weapon, though, and I think I talked to Show about this. The dopest weapon was when fucking Show, literally the character Show, busts out the glaive from Kroll. I lost my mind. I lost my. When he threw that shit, it was like, no, it made the sound and everything. I fucking lost it, dude. It was nuts. It was so good. I didn't think we were going to be utilized that in the movie in that way, but man, that was amazing. Shout out to Dan.
I'm pretty sure I was the only one in the theater that fucking recognized that shit.
Yo, me too, dude. I literally said out loud, "Yo."
I recognized it because there was a point in the '80s where that movie was played all the time on like HBO. That was like an afternoon showing of that movie.
Oh my God. Kroll was always on that short list to one day appear on Not Anime Movie Night. It just never happened.
It never happened, man.
Oh, you've never showed it?
We never got to it,
yeah. We showed the Beastmaster.
Yep.
Masters of the Universe. But we ain't no Kroll.
The trifecta.
What was the Dan Mason? What was the classic Battlestar Galactica pistol? Was that the one that he shot?
He had it at the end of the when he was driving in the car. I think he rocked the classic Battlestar Galactica handgun.
What does that even look like? I didn't even. I've never really watched the classic show, so I don't know.
I
don't know what that looks like.
I was a kid, so I don't remember that shit.
I remember seeing it at times as a kid, but I don't remember really watching that show that much, so I don't know. What does it look like?
I'll see if I can find it, but I was looking at something.
Probably looks like a ripoff of Star Wars. There was no Star Wars blaster, right? There was no Han Solo blaster.
I don't know. I know there was.
Was there anything from Disney in this movie?
Yeah, there was some Star Wars. There was actually some Marvel characters that showed up.
There was some Star Wars.
Yeah, there was actually
Star Wars and some Marvel, but there was no Disney though. There wasn't any.
I didn't see Disney. I saw.
I'm surprised.
Which is a real deep cut, but I saw a character that's going to actually be relevant in a couple weeks. One of Thanos' daughters from his group of warriors. I forget what they call them, but she showed up during the final battle. Apparently, Captain America's somewhere in the final battle as well. That's where. Wreck-It Ralph's in the final battle somewhere. I don't know where he is, but apparently several people cited that they saw him. So that's as Disney as that can come. That makes sense though. Wreck-It Ralph would be there.
I know I can name all the fucking cars.
Oh, so Dan Mason said the Battlestar Galactica pistols. He shot Artemis. That's the gun that shot Artemis with.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said that's the classic.
I found it. Hang on a second. I'm gonna pull it up on screen for you. Let's see here. This is the gun right here. It'll take a moment to show up, but that's the gun he used. The Colonial Warrior Blaster pistol gun. That's the classic one from that. I'll share the link with you in the chat too. But yeah, it's
But again, he was holding two guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was holding two guns. Yeah.
Where did you put this picture at?
It's on the screen, but it's right here in it's in the Discord chat now. Yeah, that's the gun that he used.
I was like, damn, where did I see this gun from? What's funny is Daito was the one driving the Mach 5.
Yep.
Yeah, Daito drove the Mach 5.
And Sho was driving the fucking Smokey the Bandit car.
That was pretty awesome.
And he wrecked it because we find out he's like fucking 11.
God, the Mach. It's funny though. The Mach 5 is so unique because when they were doing the pan over shot of all the vehicles, it's like holy shit. The Mach 5 just stood out like anything else because everything else is even the DeLorean kind of melded in because it's the coloring and everything. Yeah. But the Mach 5 is just so different.
It's the first car I noticed because Ryu's walking right alongside that motherfucker. It's like, yo, that's the Mach 5. There's Christine. All these other cars.
I know. Christine was there, yeah.
Christine, the 18 van.
The Batmobile.
The Batmobile from the 66. Yeah. Yep. Man, of course, the DeLorean. Artemis's bike.
F1 car in there, probably from like pole position or some shit.
H-Rock Bigfoot, of course, which is an 80s staple right there.
Oh, that was another nitpick.
What's that?
You gotta be ridiculous, and no one could fucking hear that. That's really a female's voice.
Yeah, I know.
My wife was pissed because she was sad that the trailers gave that away because she said it would have been a nice thing, but it's like you would have been able to tell because of the voice. The vocoding doesn't hide it very well.
What are you showing off my shit?
Yeah, that was really nice. But yeah, the show has the movie has a lot of nice moments when it comes to things you see in the background. We know it's part of the whole nostalgia vibe that the movie carries, and it has a lot of things that we love and enjoy from our childhood.
In the very beginning of the movie, like when he was playing through the planets, they did quickly fucking flew over Lotus, the school planet,
and they mentioned it briefly in the movie as well. But yeah, they fought as Lotus.
He was talking to Nolan Sorrento about, hey, we could make the schools look like from so and so.
From the Breakfast Club or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
And this is the thing where I don't want to nitpick it. I mean, again, because we need to take the book and the movies as separate entities in a way. But honestly, there's a lot of shit that they just say in this movie that they don't explain at all unless you read the book.
Ludus, yeah. If you hadn't read the book, some of that stuff would not make any sense at all. When they mentioned Ludus, of course we know what it was because we read the book and what that is in reference to about changing the look of the schools and all that stuff. But I mean, there's no point of reference.
Blink, like, why do they fucking call these guys Gunters? What?
They never did really talk about that, did they? Why they called them Gunters?
It makes you wonder they had to cut a lot out of the movie as well because they probably did explain it in the longer cut of the film, but they had
like 2.5 hours fucking long.
It's a long movie,
pretty long.
Spielberg cut.
But yeah, man. Ultimately, man. Go ahead.
One of the things, though, I just want to kind of touch this.
Yeah, by all means.
One of the things that I've been, because when I was reading all these, some of these articles where people are just writing and, just being pissed off because, it didn't. I read a couple where it's not showing the quote unquote nerd and geek cultures in a good light. I'm just sitting there going, I think I know what's happening. For the longest time, the quote unquote nerd culture, they always want it to be accepted, and they're like, "Oh, don't crap on me because I like this stuff." Now that this stuff is actually starting to be accepted and becoming mainstream, they're almost rebelling against it because I think they're afraid that's what's gonna make them part of. It's not going to make them special anymore. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, the fact that they're just going off on this, I'm just like, oh, it's showing nerd. I don't think it shows nerd culture in a bad way. And in a lot of ways, I don't even really think of it as like really nerd culture at this point. I just think of it as kind of like fandom. And
most people don't care.
Yeah, and most people don't care either. And it's just like this whole thing about like these arbiters of like, we got to sit there and, we're still the nerds and we have our culture. It's like, for the longest time, you were complaining because nobody accepted you. Now you're seeing stuff that you never thought you would see. And now you're crapping all over it and being all butthurt about something that's like, okay, we mentioned things we didn't like about the movie, but my God, it's not the end of the quote unquote video game fandom geek culture. It's like, in a lot of ways, it probably helps, and you're going to see more and more stuff about this. And I don't, and the other thing too is somebody says in the chat here that it's showing stuff in a bad light. I'm like, what did it show in a bad light? It showed that a world that everybody escapes reality playing a video game, and there was a big fetch quest at the end where you could become rich and famous. And in the end, the geeky guy won. He got everything. He got the money. He got the girl. He beat the bad guy. I mean, how did it show anything in a bad light? I don't get it. And
this asshole who gets everything decides to shut down their fucking servers for 2 days out of the week.
Right?
Yeah, I know. that's I guess maybe that's the part they have a problem with, is like he realized there's more important things in the real world. It's like, yeah, we're gonna first thing I'm doing is I'm shutting everything down for 2
say
days.
Say that to the kid that's probably in a foster home because their fucking parents died in the same stacks that they.
Oh wow.
True. That is true.
That was
he has to escape that shit.
That was an addition. That wasn't in the book, right? That they did that. I don't think, because it doesn't really get into an epilogue all that much in the book. The book just ends.
Shutting down the thing for 2 days.
Yeah, I don't think they talk about that in the book at all.
No, they don't.
No, he talks about.
He wins the shit. He wins the shit. Meets the girl at the last page,
And that's it. Yeah.
And all he says is now he doesn't really feel like getting back in the Oasis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the quickest ending book ever.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like the final battle ended, and a page and a half later, the end. Like, it's that quick. If I remember correctly in the book, he mentions about somebody asked him a few times. Some people asked him like what you would do with all the money, and I think he says he would use some of it to make people's lives better. But yeah, they never talk about shutting it down. He's the only one that talks about maybe I'll spend a little bit more time in the real world.
Yeah. See, in the movie, he shuts down those not that, but he shut down those loyalty things that IOI.
Yeah,
was doing.
loyalty centers had to go.
He never said anything about that in the book.
Yeah, which is a welcome addition. I also would say a welcome addition is when you find out that Halliday may be just more than a program. And
I was just gonna get to
that. I like that a lot.
I didn't get that whole thing. I'm like, that was a little. I'm like,
that's Spielberg.
Really?
That's super. That's Spielberg. That is so Spielberg though. I think because he likes the Ghost in the Machine type angle, and I actually thought that was really cool because it puts an air of mystery behind Halliday and
that was so Sword Art Online right there.
Yes, yes it is. Yes it is. So much so. Holy shit. But yeah.
Are you an Avatar? No.
No.
Is Halliday really dead? Yeah.
What are you? I'm out.
I'm going into this dark bedroom back here because you can see what he was going into. It's not even like a dark room. It's just a bedroom. I'm going to sleep. Yeah. I'm going to go to sleep with my younger self.
And it just makes you wonder what he accomplished before he died. Did he like digitize himself into the Oasis, or we're
going to have to wait for Ready Player 2.
The Ready Player 2.
Yeah, man. All those answers will be answered. All those questions will be answered in Ready Player 2.
There you go, man. The cliffhangers.
And then the follow-up will be Ready Player Co-op.
Yo, shout outs to Ed the Crimson. He went to go see the movie Witch Show. Did he share you with any thoughts of his about the film show? What was because I'm sure there was some things in the movie that Ed probably didn't recognize or know what it was. He said that you nailed the Shining part.
I know to Ed that movie was busy as fuck.
Yeah.
There's so much shit.
It is so a busy movie. I mean,
there's a lot going on. It's so dense.
Try to catch all that shit. You get a goddamn brain aneurysm. Yeah. I was joking around with these guys. I don't know. I'm sure Neo has one of these theaters where he is, but over here in Port Orlando, we have a theater that has 4D.
Yeah, those seats.
4DX. Those are the shits where you sit in these seats. They're fucking moving around. They shoot fucking mist, spray water at you. Even shoots out smells. Well, the whole thing is shaking in 3D, and I'm like, can you imagine watching like that first race in those chairs?
You know what? I don't know if I'd like that. No, I watched that
for 2.5 hours.
I watched that the Cinelopolis, the one where you have the reclining thing and you just order drinks and food.
I do want to see this movie again in 3D.
Yeah, I would like to as well.
See this again in 3D.
I saw it in 3D.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw the 3D version. It was pretty good. It's a typical 3D. Like it's so noticeable now the shit that's shot in 3D. The stuff that's not. It is so. They need to kind of up. I don't know what they need to do to make that a little less. Hey, on a side note, I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
What is with all the memes about the guy from American Chopper? Why is that a thing right now?
What?
You haven't seen these?
No,
the father or the son.
The father. Well, most of them are the father, but I'm also seeing things where there's the son involved. The son and the father. Like,
is it a meme of like both of them arguing over something?
There's a meme that's one where there are. I just was wondering why all of a sudden, like, I've just seen a flood of them today, and I'm like, there's different things. Like, there's one where they're arguing about like why how stupid Kingdom Hearts is. It's got dumb characters and stuff, and like I'm just seeing all these things. I'm just going through the Twitter, so I'm just like seeing. It's like, I guess it's just the meme of the day. So I was just wondering if I was missing something.
I shared a list with you guys on Discord that these guys are actually compiling a massive list of all the references from the movie.
Oh, word!
Right there in the Discord, which is interesting. Well, I put it in. I guess I put it in. Yeah, where you put it in the general.
Okay. God, how many do they have so far?
It's like remember I forgot Beetlejuice showed up like
I do remember
when he gets mobbed at the holiday place. Yeah, I saw him.
Harley Quinn, she was in the nightclub, right?
Who? Harley Quinn?
Harley Quinn
several times.
There was a couple of people in the nightclub.
Yeah, she was in the air dancing. She was in that private booth. She was walking out with Deathstroke. It's like, yo, Harley Quinn is like an anime convention. Right. That bitch is everywhere.
It plays out the thing that how fucking everyone jumps on the avatar and fucking uses it to death.
Yeah.
But I think my biggest sigh of relief in this film is when they were about to choose a film and then he mentions The Fly. I'm like, no. And then he said The Shining. I'm like, thank God. Another thing I gotta nitpick. This is obviously big spoilers. Is the big reveal. I mean, it was a cool scene when they went to the journals. How quickly Artemis and Wade fucking team up in this one, right?
Yeah, they team up quick.
Again, nitpicking differences from the book. But when he showed off that little meeting between the two when they were talking about the girl that ended up becoming Maro's wife.
Yes.
He made a bet with what they call that guy?
I made a bet with the curator.
The curator. Guy. He made a bet with him, and then he wins the bet, and then he flips him the quarter.
Yeah.
Even though one of my favorite parts of the book is when he's depressed.
When he gets the coin. Yep.
Pac-Man. Obviously, that's not the greatest fucking translation to a movie.
Oh, no, not at all.
He won this shit from a bet, so he just flips it the quarter. We all knew what the quarter was.
Yeah.
We moved on with our lives. But the reveal at the end, we find out who the curator was. And I'm saying to myself, this Uga has been sitting around in that fucking building for fucking 5 years.
Pretty much.
You're playing Ask Jeeves the whole time? Yo. It's like, yo, bro, for real?
I'm like, God damn, Morrow. Jesus Christ, I know your wife died, but holy shit, this is all you do? You're like this guy who was like this wizard that was like in the book playing disco parties and shit, but you're just this guy standing at the desk?
Yeah, that is kind of a sad thing. I wish they would have had it. Because in the book, he plays such a instrumental part in helping Wade towards the end there.
Yeah,
like I get it. Once again, they got to cut it down, and he does kind of help Wade, I guess, as the curator, but does he really? It's more or less he's just sitting there and
it gives him that coin, which I guess acts as an observational tool to see what he's up to.
The surprise is, this guy that we've been seeing in a couple of scenes, helping out Wade. Ended up being Ogden Mar. Oh, that's cool. But when you stop and really think about it, again, that's not what you want to do with this movie, but I can't help myself sometimes.
Yeah, that's what you do.
You're telling me this motherfucker's been standing around
for 5 years? Yeah, exactly.
Waiting for the one.
He's literally working in the Oasis.
I'm thinking that he's not always he takes control of the guy whenever
hope so,
because
you're dreaming of dreaming minds.
Look, yeah, exactly. I will say this, and you can ask my wife if this is true or not. When we're in the theater and I heard him speak, I said that's Simon Pegg's voice. That's when
everyone else.
Yeah, but I didn't think that they were both the same character. I was thinking he was just doing double duty as Simon Pegg was doing double duty as a character in the movie and then playing Ogden Morrow. But I didn't think they were going to be one and the same.
He knew it was him.
Yeah. Well, once he gave him the coin, and once I saw his reaction to Kira, I started to suspect. Because
soon you definitely suspect it's the same person when he actually wanted to argue with Wade. There's no way that was the only time. You can literally say he was speaking as Ogden Morrow. There's no way that this is the only time he's ever talked about what's her face.
Yeah, and the biggest clue
he had to go there and look. Yeah. It's like, why would the computer program have to sit there and go do a search on this? It's like, because it's like he's doing an actual Google search out.
Yeah, he's searching on his own. It's like, isn't that your
job? You got Jeeves.
Yeah.
Fucking ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves.
Googling.
He's an S. Jeeves has to go to Google.
You know what the sad part is?
You already
That's
failed
what
it.
Jeeves was.
That's what.
You're asking a fucking program to fucking use a search engine. What the fuck?
Oh no!
Fucking ask Jeeves over here. Fucking like, oh, I guess you were right. Well, I'm best. Like,
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
That's wild shit. Oh my god! But yeah, I mean, he
Wow,
played a very
I looked
minimal.
at this list that these guys compiled. They need to do more because, yeah. I mean, this thing needs to grow a little bit because they got a lot of stuff. I didn't know that some of the stuff was in there.
They missed one for the Breakfast Club. They said that they noticed the character, but also the tables in the Halliday Research Center are the Breakfast Club tables from the movie as well. When you see them, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's cool. There's so much to miss in that movie. There's a ton. So they got their work cut out for them, and they're gonna keep compiling this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that silly ass fucking climax where you got all these people fighting and running in the streets. I'm like, they're lucky. Apparently, no one can afford gas or a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little weird. I was like, what is this all about? But okay. And you're right. The ending, it could have been better. I mean, especially it has to even go. I mean, the fact that they had the good old fashioned chase sequence.
Yeah.
In the real world, I was like, really? Okay.
I liked it, man. I liked it. That was Goonies. That was Goonies as fuck, though. That was those super Goonies right there, man.
But to have the finale and freaking Sorrento out in the real world trying to stop these people, I'm like,
yeah,
you guys know they just amassed a fucking army.
You know what this movie felt like to me? It felt like Steven Spielberg directing a Robert Zemeckis movie. Is what it felt like to me.
We should have just had Robert Zemeckis there.
You know what? Robert Zemeckis has been fucking doing those CG movies for years now, and probably the most successful one is going to be this one, and he didn't even direct it. But I mentioned you got him to thank because he started this off with the Polar Express and did other ones. He did what's that? A Beowulf. And several other ones, and then later on Spielberg did Tintin, and we're finally here. And I gotta say that the CG in this movie looked really good. I didn't think it was gonna work very well because I didn't like the character designs when I first saw them.
Till 5 years from now. When
yeah. It's gonna be super dated. It's super dated. But watching the movie and seeing the lighting and how the people were animated and how much work they put into the mocap work, I thought was really nice. They looked natural, even though it was an unnatural. What I was mostly impressed with, though, is the scenes where it involved real life people and the CG models as well. Like the time where they were trying to fool Sorrento into thinking that he was in the real world, but it was in the virtual world still. Or the moment at the very end of the movie.
Those scenes were kind of shot. Almost kind of separately because one room was real and the other one was fake.
Sure, but
the scene with him and Halliday in the room.
Yeah, that to me impressed me the most. To be honest with you, the one with Halliday in the room, that one I thought worked out pretty well. It's just the way they got the lighting.
The CG works all around in this film just because of the fact that it's a virtual world. I mean, Uncanny Valley it's not really an issue in this.
Yeah, because you're not trying to capture realism in it.
You got a fucking scene with Hello Kitty walking around with fucking next to
Marvin the Martian.
Marvin the Martian, and while they showed Wade walking, I think changing his hair, you can see Doc Brown walking next to him.
Yeah, you can, man. It'd be nice if he was walking next to Rick. from Rick and Morty.
So I think the CG works really, it works.
Yeah, you're right.
It works well for this movie.
And you know what? It may hold up later on because the fact of they never are trying to recreate.
It's supposed to be a video game.
Yeah. So and that will probably be the big thing. But before we go into our ratings or anything on this, let me ask you this question.
What's up?
What do you think the staying power of this at the movie theaters? Is it just because all these other movies are going to be released in the next couple weeks? It's just an unfortunate thing where and it's such a crowded movie release year that you think it might get kind of lost. I mean, not saying that you're going to lose it, but I'm just saying as as a property, what do you think its staying power is going to be?
I mean, I looked at the release list coming up. Really, the only other movie I can see that's going to be big is probably Rampage. I know, crazy, a video game fucking movie, but it's got Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it. Yeah, and it's literally kaiju.
Yeah. What happened to my friend? Tell me what happened to my friend.
George! Watch me as I do sign language.
It's literally a kaiju film with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
It's a fucking,
and does he have to? Does he have to fly a helicopter in every movie?
Of course. Which is funny because this movie is directed by the same dude who directed San Andreas, where he played the helicopter pilot.
Oh my god, I can see it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I'm with you. It's got San Andreas all over.
It's the same team up, bro. It's the same team up.
San Andreas is one of those movies where
did it work together for Skyscraper too?
I have no idea, but I wouldn't doubt it.
San Andreas is one of those movies that it's so ridiculous, but I'll admit this.
That girl?
That shit comes on.
Rock's daughter.
That's what I want to know. That's some old bullshit right there.
But when that movie comes on, I'll actually sit there and watch it. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
Especially that ending. It's just, oh my god, come on.
Skyscraper, they might as well call that movie Sky Hard. Because that's what it is. But yeah, the way this movie is going to perform this upcoming weekend, I think it's going to barely make first place again this weekend. But when Rampage comes out, it's definitely sliding down from that point.
It's not going to make a whole lot.
Yeah, it's going to barely make place.
I wouldn't be surprised if like 16 million.
Yeah, because
it's still going to be enough probably to keep it one, unless Medea overshoots it to fucking first place.
Well, it's not Medea. It's Acrimony, but Tyler Perry. Yes, Tyler Perry's Acrimony, which came in second place last weekend by a huge margin of difference between the two films. But there's going to be like a 60 to 70% drop off for Ready Player One. It's a given, and I know the Tyler Perry movies do have legs for a while, so I think it's going to be a little bit closer. Okay. They do, they do. It's amazing. Look at his history.
I need a black community.
Oh my god.
I need a black community to come together and give me a podcast about why you guys love these movies.
All I can say is anybody wants to laugh,
that is Kevin Hart. I don't understand.
Anybody wants to laugh, go
What's his appeal?
I like Kevin. The funniest I've ever seen Kevin Hart really is Jumanji. Yeah. Outside of that, I can't stand Kevin Hart. I don't get it.
I was fine with him in Jumanji, which is crazy because I
think he's fine. Yeah,
even Jack Black is like hit or miss. Mostly misses, but then you got them both in that fucking.
Yeah, it's something about Jack Black in jungle movies, man. He seems to come through. Movies.
I just thought it was funny. Fucking, I never thought a girl would be so excited to be able to hold a dick and piss.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
This is so easy. Man, we take shit for granted, don't we?
These things are crazy. But going back to Tyler Perry, if anybody wants a laugh, there's one set of reviewers on YouTube that tear into every Tyler Perry movie whenever they get the chance to review them. Double Toasted. They did a review of Acrimony recently, and it is some of the craziest shit I have ever heard. The last act of that film, it's like, you gotta be shitting me. They just said, fuck it, I'm spoiling this. And they go into that shit. It's like, I cannot believe what I just heard.
Is that who I need to watch to make sense of these fucking movies?
Bro, they tear them up. They have Corey Coleman has no. He's for those who don't know, he's a black man who does movie reviews along with his crew, and they talk about every Tyler Perry movie that comes out, and they struggle through them, and then they fucking just rip them apart ruthlessly.
I don't get it. Like
ruthlessly.
I've watched some of the
those actors work.
I've seen some of the Medea stuff. You know, they'll show up on HBO or whatever, and I'll try to watch it, and I'm just like, I don't get. any of that.
They don't have any widespread appeal. They mainly appeal to one demographic, and it's not just black people. It's the demographic of older black women who don't come out to see movies often. They just don't. They really don't.
Oh, okay.
That demographic does not get served. So when there's a Tyler Perry movie, I work with a lot of older black women at my job, so they all get excited when a Tyler Perry movie comes out, and that's like, I don't know why you do that to yourself, but whatever.
There's so many black women in that place.
Yes,
I'm
there is.
I'm sitting in the waiting room, and they're at like lunch. People going in and out. I'm like, so many black women. I'm like, I'm not getting this job because I am neither a woman, and I am neither black.
Oh my god! Yeah,
holy shit! I got something to work. I got to work against that, boy.
A little inside baseball.
And guess who interviewed me?
A black woman.
Black woman.
Hey man.
Wow.
What a coincidence. No, for those that don't know, Show just interviewed for a position at the place that I work at today, and yeah, he got to see that firsthand. So yeah, anytime a Madea movie comes out or a Tyler Perry movie comes out,
okay, I was just wondering. I don't.
Do a lot of people call out those Fridays? Is that what,
I would know.
is that what a lot of people on your team calls out? Why is there no one working on a Friday? It's a Madea movie. Yeah.
Fuck.
Or a Tyler Perry movie. Yeah.
Damn you, Tyler Perry. Fuck you and Boo. Fucking Boo 2, a Madea Halloween. Fuck me.
But like I was mentioning, he does give a lot of black actors work. In his
film. He does, and he's. I don't care for his movies all that much, but I will say that when
his movies got like the 227, a fucking Cosby Show reunions all the fucking time.
He's able to make movies off of $5. And make a lot of money off of them, and he employs a lot of people in the Georgia area. He's one of the main reasons why they film movies and TV shows in Georgia right now, because he helped to establish a infrastructure in Atlanta to film movies. He started the studio there, and a lot of other professionals moved there, and then they started up stuff, and then all of a sudden it became a very hip place to film movies, and other studios started to take investment there. So Tyler Perry being in Atlanta and doing what he did there helped to build that up. So I respect him as a businessman. I'm not crazy about his movies at all. So
okay, well, back to Ready Player
One. Back to Ready Player One. And to our ratings.
Hey, man, thank you for what grinds your gears there.
Hey man, you asked about what the box office. Just
commentary on
my last thing about the box office is that everything's gonna get murdered when Avengers comes out at the end of the month. So enjoy your run, Ready Player One. I hope you make a little bit of more money this weekend.
So you're saying if Avengers is sold out, you might as well just go watch Ready Player One again?
Yeah, pretty much. Definitely check that out instead, or Black Panther again. It'll still be in theaters. But yeah, but to our ratings, we might as well go ahead and close things out with our final thoughts and ratings. Neo, what would you rate this movie, and any final thoughts to share?
4 out of 5 Gundam double takes. 4 Gundam double takes out of 5. Because I still couldn't believe I saw it in there.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, holy shit, this is really happening. And I'm like, because I thought it was a background player. I thought it was going to be like, you might see it do a couple of cool things, and that was about it. But I did not realize it was going to replace Ultraman.
Yeah, so, it definitely took center stage, which was nice.
I remember the Gundam was in the book, but he didn't He didn't have that Ultraman.
No. Matter of fact, it was H that piloted Gundam in the book, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. But Show, any final thoughts, and what's your score?
Man, it's like I had a lot of fun with this movie, but even I think 4 might be too much.
I based it on the fun that I had with it. I'm not basing it on really the.
It's like they had so many great setup scenes. Mm-hmm. And the stuff between it, what the fuck?
Yeah,
but
I think it's that perfect movie for Blu-ray, where it's like you got a few minutes to kill, and you're like, I'm gonna watch something. I'll just, it's like popping in the freeway scene in The Matrix 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely one of those movies that if it ever comes on TV, it's being played.
Yeah,
it's being played. Yes. Yeah.
Well, would I put this up there with like Jurassic Park? No. This movie actually kind of reminds me of like how I could just lose myself in watching like Minority Report.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what else that he did recently. Like AI, even though AI is long, it's like, if it's on TV, I'll play it.
Yeah, I will actually watch that movie too.
You know, so I guess I will give this more of a 3.5 pissed off fanboys.
Oh
because,
boy,
man.
Yeah,
we thought they were mad about the book.
Jeez.
Holy shit.
When this movie came out, they are now saying the book is a fucking masterpiece.
They always do that shit, man.
Wow.
Oh my god. Will it ever fucking stop?
You guys are just mad. You're just jealous of fucking Mr. Klein.
Fucking fickle.
I actually think you're right about that. I think in the end, it's just that they're pissed because he figured out what he did this. Because if you really think about it, it's such a ridiculous thing. It's like anybody really could have wrote this book. There wasn't really that much special about it. All you really needed to know was 80s culture, and you have Wikipedia for that. And but yeah,
what was it that you said? Someone was saying this movie pretty much like killed Fed. What was it?
Oh yeah. It was an article that I saw, and they said the title of it was on Sci-Fi Wire, and it said "How Ready Player One Fails Geek Culture." And I'll just do one quote. This is, you know how on an article online they'll always put like a statement from the story that's like one of the poignant statements. This is the one for this. The irony is that Ready Player One demonizes those who only interested in geek culture on a superficial level, while being an inspiring blockbuster that shows only a cursory knowledge of the very culture it claims to revere.
It's not that serious.
It's not. It's
just a movie.
Yeah,
it's a movie you don't take serious.
It's fans taking themselves way too serious at the end of the day, man. They treat this shit too preciously. It's things that we sit down and enjoy, but at the end of the day, people can have their own interpretation of things. You're not going to always agree with things, but to think this movie sits and purposely destroys everything you love, that's just that's the nuclear option. And I think this is bullshit.
That's you allowing that to happen.
Exactly. People are just way too precious with this shit, and they need to get a grip, man. They need to.
I just want to point out there, my rating is based mainly on it gets busy. It's the pacing.
It's really busy. Yeah.
It's just so many conveniences that happen in the film, and I feel like that climactic battle could have been better, and I really don't know what the fuck was the whole point of even having a finale in that fucking that name alone is confusing. People keep thinking I'm talking about finale. No, there's a character in there named Finale.
Finale, yeah. I think they divvied up Sorrento into 3 characters. They divvied them up into IROC, Finale, and Sorrento, basically. Because in the book, I remember Sorrento being a lot more diabolical and a bit more formidable in the book. But in the movie,
he's comical.
He's an idiot. He's like a comedic version of the character that Ben Mendelsohn played in The Dark Knight Rises. He played Roland Daggett in The Dark Knight Rises, and he was a corporate businessman who was diabolical in that movie, but you know, he got fucked up by Bane. But it's kind of a spin on that character. I mean, ultimately, Ben Mendelsohn has made a cottage industry about of playing villains, whether they're over the top or subtle. And I enjoy it every time he does it, and I think he did a good job with this movie. I just hated the fact that Nolan Sorrento came off pretty dumb in this film, especially when you write your password on a piece of paper and leave it on your console, and you can't remember something so simple.
What was it? Bossman 69?
Bossman 69, yo.
So again, if I really wanted to turn apart, 3.5 stars. But I mean, 3.5 pissed off fanboys. But if you don't take this fucking movie seriously and just enjoy it for what it is, I reckon it's a lot of fun.
I think in some ways the busyness makes it where you want to rewatch it again, and I think that's the point of this. I think the point of this movie is really going to be it's going to end up being kind of a game more than anything. It's a game, watching this movie about a game. Yeah. Because you're going to want to sit there and try to see, oh, yeah, I heard about this. Oh, yeah, shit, I saw him, and stuff like that. So, yeah. But goddamn, people, it's the movie. Yeah. And it was just a book.
Yeah. I would give this movie, to me, I would give this movie 3.75 hit confirms into Hadoukens out of 5.
Yeah, the HV out. I gotta be the dick.
Hey, man.
I gotta be the dick.
You know me, man. You know me, I like everything. No, I mean, if I were to put this in the pantheon of movies that are inspired by video games, I would say that this movie is above Tron to me. But below movies, but above.
You always gotta fucking jab Tron.
I fucking hate that fucking movie. I like the sequel better than the original, but I would put it. Yeah, I like the sequel better than the. Oh yeah, I absolutely do. Man, go back and watch that original movie, please.
Go
back and watch that shit. You'll see how bad it is.
I've seen that original movie because there was a point in the 80s when you'd watch Disney Channel after 8 o'clock. They played just that and The Black Hole all the time. Yeah. Those are the movies they always played.
They would.
What a block, man. What a block. That is fantastic.
That's fucked up. I would put it above the original Tron. I would put it below The Last Starfighter. I would definitely put it below Scott Pilgrim. I would definitely put it below Wreck-It Ralph. Well, no, not movies based on video games, but movies that are centered around video games. Naming those off, I would put it. What would I put it above The Wizard, but for the most part, yeah, it's definitely good. It's on the better end of the spectrum for me when it comes to movies like this. But Housesider says what? Yeah, Housesider, I'm not a fan of Tron, not at all. I must have seen that movie late into my life. Because I didn't see it until like maybe a couple months before Tron 2 came out. I was not a fan of that movie. I was not a fan of that shit. I didn't like the story. I didn't like the pacing. I didn't like I like the cast.
Yeah, and that was classic 80s pacing, sci-fi pacing. Yeah. Slow and methodic. Come on. What are you always...
Yeah.
Are you going to say you hate The Black Hole too?
No, I like The Black Hole just fine. That movie's great.
You like The Black Hole.
But I can't stand.
I'm about to say that shit's slow as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you're going on that because I like The Black Hole.
Most of The Black Hole's like a dinner party.
Pretty much, yes.
Yazzie says I killed the last Henson. Yeah, there's no secret I'm not crazy about the Muppets. But
that proves you have no fucking soul.
Hey, and it also proves I don't like everything. So there you go.
How can you not like the Muppets, man?
Who knew? But we got some tweets from Yazzie real quick, because no one likes to use the hashtag to share any thoughts. So, but Yazzie, thank you. I appreciate it every time that you do. Yes, we do. It's Gundamn Live 038. And Yazzie writes, to be honest, when I first saw Halliday, I thought he was Weird Al. Oh, damn. Your Weird Al is awesome, though. I like him. He says also, it's funny how you guys joked on Gundam about Spielberg making a live-action Gundam movie almost a decade later to see him make a movie with a Gundam in it and playing an important role for a bit. He's always liked the Gundam franchise for all reports, and I wonder if he kind of put the Gundam front and center in this movie so that way he'd have a sequence with the suit. Does this show that a live-action movie is possible? I don't know, but I did like the fact that they did use the Gundam the origin version of the RX-78-2 in this movie.
Let's start the freaking rumors now.
Well,
who's gonna be Armoro Ray?
Well, you know what?
Young kid can be Armoro Ray?
Jordan Voight Roberts, the director of Skull Island, went on and said that you could do a live-action Gundam movie. This movie did show proof of concept, and he said if you don't fuck up the designs and you keep it real like Ready Player One did with the RX-78, the movie would work when it comes to the mobile suit designs. So it was cool to see him post that. Hey, apparently he's a Gundam fan.
Slugger Law.
Oh my God! I'll tell you who could play Bright Noah though. I'll tell you who could play Bright Noah if he was like 20 years younger. My boy Will Willis from Forged in Fire. But no one knows who that is. Exactly. Look him up. Jesus. Look him up. Anyway, but Yazzie, thank you for that tweet.
All right.
If Sobro was involved with the movie, one of the challenges would have been the wall from the Zone of Enders 2. Stop it. Shut the fuck up, Yazzie. A challenge that Sobro could not conquer until 20 tries later. Dude, I was working on it during a stream. I stopped the stream at the end of that. It's like, I can't do this. Came back and finally did it. It was an achievement in my life. That shit was hard. For me, anyway. Look, man, I'm not good. I'm not good at games, but
you're not very good at video games.
I'm not good at games at all. I'll be the first to say. Last but not least, Yazi says, "What does Dennis think of this movie? Does it have culture?" I think Dennis is just...
You'd have to ask him. You'd have to probably go out and ask him. Maybe we'll be able to track him down.
He's too busy drinking.
I'm pretty sure you'd say it was a goddamn fucking insult.
Yeah,
the culture.
Either that, or he was just too drunk and fell asleep halfway through.
He's too busy drinking himself to death right now.
Yeah. And then lamenting about, do you think Earth really has the best culture?
Yeah. But for the most part, Yazi, I really appreciate you using that hashtag and tweeting, and thank you very much, everybody who tuned into the show today. Use these hashtags? Hey man, the better chance to get your statements mentioned on the show. I try to read from the chat, but a lot of times the conversation moves so fast I can't really pull from the chat. But thank you guys for being a part of it.
Show.
Yeah, show is on the show. But at least your chat does get seen on the screen, and props to anybody who's watching live on youtube.com/Gundamn MAHQ. That's where you can watch the podcast live. You listen to the audio version. Then if you ever are on YouTube, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel on youtube.com/Gundamn MAHQ. Before we close things out, Neo, anything you wanted to mention or that you got going on, sir?
No, but I will tell people this. The next regular episode of Gundam will have a series review in it. We're not revealing it. But Sobro, you are going to finish that series, right?
Yes, I'm going to.
You had about 2 months to do it.
I am going to finish the series.
We're not going to put him on blast. And I saw the tweets about Sobro watching the new Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Oh my God.
So Sobro, let me know when you watch those, because maybe I'll be able to tune in sometimes. But
I was thinking that you and I could actually do. We can actually watch it together if you want to, because we were thinking about the next show to watch.
The new stream? The new stream?
We got a choice. We can either do Legend of Galactic Heroes, or we could do the new Gundam Build Divers, which just started up as well. But Gundam Build Divers started this week, so we could alternate between the two.
Gundam Build Divers. That's, I guess, it's kind of our bread and butter. So
yeah, we're going to do it.
We should just do our reviews on Gundam on that. I would say if we're going to do anything, we could do a live stream of Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yeah. We can wait till there's like 4 episodes deep, and then we sit down and watch.
Yeah.
We knock out a block. I think that's actually pretty cool.
Oh man, Kirky Ice. What would I do if Kirky Ice is still here? Well, this is new. This is probably early on, so Kirky Ice will still be around. So.
But yeah, for those that don't know, new Legend of Galactic Heroes series just started this week.
Ed the Crimson. Me and Sho had to make a special arrangement, because normally this would have been our second installment of Danger 5 viewing. We'll come back for some Danger 5 viewing.
And I wanted to mention, that I'm not going to be able to do another episode of Gundam for 2 weeks. So if you guys are going to get together and do Danger 5,
So that kind of works out. We'll get those episodes out, because people were asking about those episodes. I saw that a few times.
That's my mission. I'm so sorry about the delay with those episodes, guys. I've been super busy, and I got to
join us for Danger 5, because remember,
kill Hitler.
Kill Hitler.
Yo, show. For those that don't know, Sho and Neo have been watching a show called Danger 5 and doing commentary on that.
It's the greatest show ever.
follow at Shoji Ramuro on Twitter to get word when they're doing the next stream. Thank you guys for tuning into the stream today. Sho, before we
get to say?
Yes, by all means. What do you have cooking, and let people know where they can find you.
Real quick, on Ready Player One. Did any fucking kids start crying and whatnot when that Shining shit happened?
Oh wow!
Just think about it. Think about it.
No.
Think about it. The Shining being interjected into this movie. No one expected that shit.
Yeah, that's true. They did a rated R movie.
That shit is frightening with that shit coming out the tub, turning into a zombie, and fucking blood pours down.
Well, those two little girls always creep me out. That stuff, any
hey, little girls.
movies where you have like soulless children that show up out of nowhere and they just got those soulless looks to. That's the Children of the Corn. I could never really do those movies. They just creep me out for some reason. I don't know.
Thank God kids don't really know this, but if they really do amass, they can fucking overthrow us.
Pretty much, yeah.
They're younger, they're faster. What the fuck are we gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. The parents, these damn video games.
That's
Bro, it took up 20 times to get around that wall.
That's why that's the NRA's problem, because now they got a bunch of pissed off kids now.
Yeah, right.
They sure do.
But I just thought it was interesting that you get this movie and then you get the fucking Shining put into the middle of it, a fucking horror thriller suspense movie, and they're like, God damn, I wonder if any kids are gonna have nightmares after this shit.
It does make you want to go back and watch that movie, though. I haven't seen that movie in years.
In Shining?
Yeah.
Still fresh in my mind.
Maybe just like a year ago, I think I saw it.
For me, it was about 6 months. So it's a great movie for those who haven't seen it. Please check that out.
But as for what I'm going popping off, well, as Solbro mentioned, make sure you do follow me over at Shoji Ramuro on Twitter, because I do my best to make some announcements on that. But also follow me on Twitch.
Yes.
Because that's where I do most of my gaming streams, obviously, at Shoji Ramuro. And if anything, I'm probably going to do something tonight. Are you planning on doing anything tonight, Solbro?
No, I'm planning to go to sleep right after this. So.
Not tonight.
Friday night? Yeah, actually, I'm doing my damnedest to do a Gundam versus tomorrow night. Some people got the game, and I want to get back on the game. So over on Twitch, we'll see. Yeah, twitch.tv/FightersReady. Everything has been working against me to fucking do a stream on Friday nights, but I should have time to do one tomorrow night. So Fighters Ready, guys, if you guys want to get at me in some Gundam versus, I hope to see you guys there. But back to the show.
I'll be show soloing over at Shoji Ramuro, because I will be streaming on Friday night, because it is Splatfest. It is baseball versus soccer.
Oh, wow.
Whenever I am done fucking throwing a fucking fit, throwing shit around, because nothing pisses me off more than fucking Splatfest.
What did you pick?
I pick baseball.
Fucking baseball?
Soccer is too corrupt. It is too corrupt, and then people, if you just touch them or breathe on them, they'll fucking fall on the ground crying like a little bitch. Which is
soccer. It's real soccer, then.
Which is mind blowing, because I see some brutal fucking injuries in that sport. Oh, yeah. Brutal fucking injuries, and then now they're doing this little pussy shit. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
I'd rather just sit and watch a fucking team like New York Yankees win their way, pay their way to the World Series again while drinking beer. I'm fine with that.
Damn.
That's a good way of putting it.
Paid their way.
I'm amazed.
And I hear their team this year is a fucking monstrous.
The Yankees, yeah, so far they are. Yeah.
I hear this year, holy shit! It's like everyone in that shit can hit that ball out.
They have Giancarlo Stanton on there.
So it's like, goddamn Yankees, way to spend that fucking money.
Nobody knows how to buy championships more than New York Yankees.
Well, Lakers will be next.
We'll see. I don't know if they're going to get. I don't.
Well, they're
I'll tell you this much. In
Lakerland
right now, the work. Okay, so a lot of people are actually saying don't break up the nucleus, because it's actually a pretty good young core. The only thing that hurt them this year was they had like a 9 or 10 game losing streak. Actually, if they didn't have that, if they split it, they could have possibly been an outside chance of the 8th seed. But I think once they traded Nance and Clarkson, that signaled to me and most people out there that they got a commitment from somebody to come. Because we know there's collusion all over the NBA. Like, this whole thing of like, oh, don't talk with any... These guys knew. I mean...
Sports.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually think it probably be... a lot of people think it's Paul George. And it probably will be Paul George. But I don't know if they're going to buy because the team, they lucked out on a couple draft picks. So especially Kyle Kuzma, who I think might have an outside chance for Rookie of the Year. Oh. So yeah, he's really good. He scored 30 last night on the freaking Spurs.
Well, I hope all the best for your Lakers.
Well, I'm just saying, but Well, no, I'm just saying, the Yankees.
That was real sincere.
They're so villainous, man. They're so fucking villainous.
Are they more villainous than the Celtics, though?
Well, the Celtics is.
I just hate everything about the city of Boston when it comes to that.
They're villainous, like on the court, while Lakers are just they're.
Oh yeah, they're pretty villainous. Yeah.
They're villainous in that office. But anyway, I'm sure people like sports. What is this?
What is this shit?
What are you talking about?
Myself included.
I'll be doing a gaming stream Friday night. I guess I'll be going up against Soul Bros Gundam. I do need to do another review of the spring anime shows coming out, which is I guess it's kind of a way of a Showviver preview.
Yeah, man. You should watch LOGH, man.
No.
Yes.
So we're going to go through the list of spring shows. Because I try to go for the shows that just started. I'm not going to go start a show that started like a decade ago.
It's a reboot, though. It's a brand new version. It's a brand new version of the show. It's starting from the ground up. It's new.
You have to go through the 110 episode OVA.
It's like you ain't got to watch the previous ones to get into this one.
I'll leave the space bromance.
Come on, don't you like pretty guys in military ornate military outfits, man? Come on.
I'll leave that to you guys. I just need to figure out when I'll do that Showviver preview for the spring, because I know freaking Flame X has been on me about that. So when you gonna do this? Because the winter Showviver is pretty much done. The only show still going on right now is Grand Crest and Darling in the Franxx, which will probably be leading into obviously the spring Showviver. So I don't know when I'm going to be doing that. I'll try to do it. Maybe it won't be Sunday because I'll be probably over at Soul Bros while they all eating food in the living room. I'm going to be alone in the office watching WrestleMania.
I'll be watching it with you. Don't you worry.
You don't like wrestling.
Hey, man, I do. No, I like wrestling just fine. I just don't watch on a regular basis. But I'm fine with wrestling. I don't hate wrestling. I enjoy watching it with people. Watching it by myself, I don't go out of my way. I just don't.
Oh, you're getting it, or
we'll find ways to find
we're getting it. Wink, wink. We're getting it.
We will find ways. Worst case scenario, since Soul Bros never signed up for it, you could probably sign up for that free preview for
for WWE Network.
Yeah, we get it for free.
Yeah, you know what? I'll see. I'll see about it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
But yeah, Ed, unfortunately, yes. Normally, I would do Survivor on Sunday. That would be the day I would do it. But I won't be home. I'll be watching WrestleMania. I told you guys this.
There you go.
I want to do the spring preview earlier. I can try sneaking it in on tonight's gaming stream. I don't know if it's going to be before I do Splatfest, which means I have to start early, or I could do it after Splatfest, which could be 3 or 4 hours into it. Regardless, just come to my stream tonight. Goddamn.
just support me, damn it.
God, because this might be my last month streaming.
Yeah, man. Because I don't think it'll be his last month streaming. He's just being over dramatic. But if he starts working where I'm working, then he'll have less time to stream. So
I'll have Soul Bros streaming schedule, and we all know how.
We all know how regular I stream.
Yeah.
Never. I stream like Mages. Let me stop. Shout out to Mages. He's been back on this grind. Yo, props to Mages.
You all say you're going to stream.
Hey, man, look.
Everyone, and then you get everyone's hopes up. And then when you don't stream it, then I'm the fucking piece of shit they have to drag into. Like, I guess we'll hang out here.
Yeah.
Where's Soul Bro? Where's Majors? I'm like, do you understand how irritating you keep asking me about that? When I'm here day in, day out.
I've been going to bed early like an old ass man, man. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I used to be young, guys. I used to be fucking young. But now I wake up so early in the goddamn morning. It sucks.
And that's why I'm now show solo. Ed asks, did my pants help? and sent some donations so I can make sure to get some pants for my interview.
Yeah.
Your pants did great, man.
I sponsored those pants! You should be a shoo-in!
I got like Ed the Crimson's name like on my fucking back of the pants like he's a sponsor.
Yo, this logo shows above you, and yo, ETC Shoji Ramuro.
You know, you too could have your name on my pants. Just send me some money and I'll fucking slap your name somewhere on my fucking clothes.
Yo, shout outs to Ed. Yeah, but show's interview went well according to show's take on it.
It went well. The only thing is, according to Sobro, they're only really hiring what 5 people.
5 people, the training class, and tomorrow Major's interviews for a position as well. So fingers crossed for him too.
I just think, So anyone that's gonna have more call center experience, which a lot of people have here in fucking Florida, they're gonna be picked first. So, I mean, I'm hopeful, but if I don't get it, I don't get it because. It's not because of my interview, just because people were probably more qualified. That's all.
We'll see. I think you're going to be a shoe-in. I think Major's going to be a shoe-in too. So we'll see. We'll see.
Now that I got the fucking Soul Bro guarantee, I'm fucked.
Hey man. You fuckers.
Fuck.
Oh my god. Hey, look, man. Well, I've got a good feeling, man. Look.
The Soul Bro guarantee.
You got my stink on you? Is that the deal? Awful.
But the thing is, Ed, I think I overpaid on a lot of these pants. I bought like 3 pants because I wanted to be sure. So now I'm even deeper in the hole. So like, well, I'm gonna have to fucking shoot for some more donations because I got a lot of pants. I'll probably return one of them, but I bought like 3. I wore 1, and I just needed another pair of pants I can actually wear to leave the house because I'm so fat now.
Oh wow!
And I think I got 1 pair of pants I could probably return. Well, I could use that money to get some underwears.
There you go. Diversify. Well, yo, shout outs. Make sure to visit show over on twitch.tv/Shoji Ramuro and on Twitter at Shoji Ramuro as well. SHOJIRAMURO. Also, make sure to visit us over on at Gundamn.net and make sure to support, of course, the place where the magic happens. That's MAHQ.net. Also visit the mechatalk.net headquarters. I'm sorry, forums. The headquarters, of course, is MAHQ.net. But go there, register at the mechatalk.net forums, and join the conversation. Find us on Facebook, and also find us on Twitter. You see the addresses in front of you on the screen. And also find us on iTunes. And new episodes will be finally getting posted. I've blocked out time this weekend to get them done. I'm so sorry about the wait, guys. They're getting up there. Thank you so much.
If you're not following, follow the Gundamn Twitter.
Yes, at Gundamn at MAHQ. It's Gundamn Amazing.
Some of the insight in it's amazing.
Yeah. If you see any wacky tweets, that's Neo at the helm. If you see posts of episodes, that's me at the helm.
Soon I'll hack my way into it.
Oh Lord, that's what we do.
I just do normal observations.
Neil's been doing a good job. He's been doing a good job.
I talk about things that I saw this or that, but yeah. If it's got to deal with what's going to be streaming tonight, not me.
There you go. That's the talk. But
maybe Neo will show up at Fighters Ready watching some of that Gundam.
Maybe
I could, yeah, maybe.
But
never know.
Guys.
Okay, what's that?
But many thanks, everybody.
Let him close it out.
Exactly. Thank you guys for being a part of another live episode of Gundam and MAHQ. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, and thanks for tuning in. For myself, for Neo, and Show, I hope you guys have a great night, and stay powerful. See you guys later. Peace.
So, it's been a lot of fun, but, well, I guess that's all!
Do you think Earth has the greatest culture? Bullshit. Stop thinking you know anything about culture. You don't even know the meaning.
Breakdown, baby.
Who are you?